সেই মারাত্মক যুদ্ধ ফেরত আসছে তোমার ক্যাম্পাসে। নতুন যোদ্ধাদের সাথে আরো লড়াই এবং আরো উত্তেজনার সাথে বিশাল পুরস্কার মূল্য 30,000 USD। প্যাক করো তোমার গেমিং ব্যাগ, প্রস্তুত করো তোমার বন্ধুদের।
Hello and welcome to day number 4 of PUBG Mobile Campus Championship, and big thanks to Oppo F9 Pro hashtag Wook Up Your Fun. I'm going to be your host and caster. Along with me is going to be none other than Trooper to take us through this day number 4 semi-final. How you doing, mate? First things first.
I'm doing wonderful, and I'm really excited today, brother, for this contest that we have. Group B and Group C going ahead to against each other. 4 matches back to back. There's going to be a lot of entertainment.
Absolutely. It is certainly going to be an action-packed day. And again, back-to-back 4 games is what we've got on the table today. And talking about the teams, I mean, last week when it came down to the gameplay itself, it was Future Station that did come up on top, looking really phenomenal with the points that they've collected for themselves. And also, I mean, the domination that they're continuing on is looking really, really strong for the moment.
Definitely, Future Station are leading from the front at this point, but it is going to be pretty interesting. How are they going to end up today? Are they going to end up on the first position or not? Because there are a few teams who are going to complete their 8 matches today, and there's going to be no match absolutely for Future Station that they're going to play. But let us quickly look at the overall prize pool that we have on offer here for this league of the Campus Championship. 30,000 is the overall prize pool, 10,000 for the first place, and $500 as well for the MVP. That was the special thing out there.
Absolutely, and that's going to be really crucial for you to, get into that MVP slot. You better start collecting, your kills and so many other things actually that will combine together to give you that opportunity to be a part of that $500. But alongside that, when it comes to the points themselves, of course, we are looking at the standard approach that we've got these days, which is going to be Chicken Holder going to be getting 15 points for themselves, second place holder with 12. And then moving on down, of course, it is the 13th to 16th position holders that we do want to keep an eye out for, because those lads do not walk away with any placement. So that's when that 1 point per kill will make a humongous difference.
Definitely, and we have talked about this a number of times that these 4 teams go away without any points. In fact, the other 4 teams from 8 to 12 also, these 8 teams do not take much placement points from the match. So it's very important for teams to realize this equation and go into some early fights and try to wipe out a squad and get those important 4 points in that tally. That is going to help their cause really good. But this is a brilliant point system that is being utilized all over everywhere. So we'll find out how the teams are going to play here as well. We'll keep an eye on that.
Exactly. We are, of course, looking at these 4 groups that are part of this. And in that, today we will be moving on towards group number B right off the bat, where we've got A1 Esports, Phantom, SCL, as well as SLX. Now, move the conversation towards the latter of Group B. We do have Bots in Pajamas, Immensity, Team Mercenaries, and Team Z right here as well.
Definitely, and out of those complete Group B, we saw Bots in Pajamas coming out on top. From Group C, we have TRZ Esports, Infernal Parasites, CRYPT, CS6, who's not doing so good at this point. We'll see how they are going to do. KSX was also here. Static Tribe NRZ is also playing a decent game. We have Exentric Infinity and BMG and BFS. I hope they turn out a complete 4-man squad this time. But the standout teams from Group B and Group C at this point is going to be Bots in Pajamas, KSX, and Infernal Parasites. Those are going to be the teams to watch out for. Look at where KSX is right now. In the top 5 position, they have just played 4 games. With 1 chicken dinner, they have got a decent number of points out of the 4 games that they have played.
Exactly, it is looking pretty neat for them. On the other tangent, when you talk about teams like, for example, A1 Esports, they are nowhere to be seen on this first page, and that is something that is going to certainly be haunting them, as we do know the lads are very well equipped when it comes down to the skill level, but somehow in this lobby they have not been able to showcase that sort of a play. Talking about teams that are actually looking pretty phenomenal as well, is going to be another team that showcased some wonderful plays. That was Team Z.
Definitely, Team Z is also looking quite good now. We'll see how long they are going to continue, how far they're going to come up ahead today. That is going to be something to watch out for. But look at the number of teams that have just played 4 matches. Infernal Parasites was also there. Bots in Pajamas also there on the page number 2. Coming to the page number 3, there is where we find now A1 Esports. But they've only played 4 matches. We know they are slow starters and they pick up the pace as the tournament goes ahead. That is exactly what the fans of A1 Esports would be hoping. But suddenly, all those teams, even I think after today is when Blotter will have a clear picture of where the teams are standing after 8 matches. Because by the end of the day, all teams would have played 8 matches at the semi-final stage.
Exactly, Trooper, and that's something that I was keeping in mind when I spoke about, the first page and A1 Esports not there. Well, again, they have these 4 games in their hand, and that is a team that we ought to be able to see at the end of the day come up on top in that first page of the leaderboard itself. But again, that is going to be a conversation based on speculation. But right now, what we are going to be certain about are the games themselves. As Trooper did mention, we are going to be looking at continuous games from Group B and C, and those 4 games are going to be starting things off on Erangel.
Yep, starting from Erangel, then we go to the rainforests of Sanhok, then the deserts of Miramar, and finally we're going to finish the day off with Erangel. But the action does not stop here. Still 2 more days of semi-finals remain here, ladies and gentlemen, and still these teams need to play a fair amount of matches. Only we are halfway through, to be honest, and after today is going to be the point in the overall standing when we get a clear picture where the teams are actually standing. Because after today, only 4 matches for each team would remain.
Exactly, and that is going to bring us down to that intermission point that we talk about when it comes to the tournament. And this is where that intermission will be taking place at the end of the day, and will give us, as well as the viewers, the exact approach to what to expect from these teams. Because yes, there have been a few teams that are not doing good, that are always at the bottom of that leaderboard, but hopefully now as the weeks have progressed along, they have been able to understand who they're playing against. And when you talk about doing their homework right, I'm hoping and keeping my fingers crossed that that is the case for so many of these teams today.
Definitely, in this complete scenario of PUBG Mobile, it is very important that the teams realize how to do the homework, where they can go, which are the spots in the maps that they can access easily, and what are the other teams doing. And as the semifinals have been going, with this break after the first 3 days of action that we witnessed, it was a fair amount of time for all these teams to work upon their gameplay and what the other teams are doing. So we'll find out pretty soon how these teams are looking to go ahead, and that is going to start from Erangel right away in a few minutes.
True, mate. That is so very true. And in doing so, I am certainly going to be keeping my eyes out for a team like, for example, Venom Legends. Last week we talked about that team's play. It was ferocious, no two ways about it. But also, as we talk about, teams who are at the bottom of that leaderboard or not looking too good on the leaderboard, how far a leap are they going to be making today? Also, the teams that have already played the 8 games, how big a drop are they going to be bringing into their play as well? Because they have played their games, they've showcased in 8 games. Teams like Future Station that have already crossed that 3-digit mark, 100 point is what, plus 100 point is where they are at, looking pretty comfortable. No other team, as of now, has reached that 3-point marker, right? So 3-digit number, and that is going to be another conversation that will move on along throughout the day. That all right, this team was on first position, this team was on 6th position, 4th position. Now they've gone down so low because these group teams, Group B and C, they are playing a completely different game.
Yep, that is a very interesting point that you have made, Broader, here, because as we see the overall rankings right now, right, some of the teams have already played 8 matches, and they are finding themselves just like Venom Legends are finding themselves in the top 3 spot right now. But by the end of the day, it is definitely possible that KSX is going to overtake them, and they're going to move up the charts. So they need to realize the importance when they get the opportunity to play their matches. They need to maximize the number of points they are getting out of it, because at certain stage in the tournament, there are going to be teams who would have completed their 12 matches, and still there are going to be teams who would have matches remaining, and they can still make an impact in the overall ranking. So that is something we are going to keep an eye on, and I believe KSX is going to touch the top 2 definitely by the end of the day today.
Well, most certainly could be the case with the way the team has been approaching every single game. It does look like they could be the team that we should certainly be keeping our eyes out towards. Now, just to recap to what had happened in the previous week, where we did see Group A and D go up against each other. It was, of course, Erangel that started things off, and it was Venom Legends that were looking really confident and comfortable as the day progressed on along. They did get themselves that comfortable chicken dinner in the first game, but as the day moved on along, they did not get any of the chicken dinners, but were very, very consistent, and that is looking pretty good for them. Now move that conversation towards the map of Sanhok. This is where a complete different turnaround is what we saw from the side of 1952. That was just perfect play. So much was expected from that team, and they walked away with 11 kills. So that again showcases that, again, you just need one good day to get your standing set up in a really comfortable spot, and that good day for Group B and C teams is today.
Definitely, we should keep that in mind as well, because we remember how 1952 started their campaign. The first day was not really good. On the second day, they did make a comeback. They ended up in the top 15, I believe. And in the Sanhok that you mentioned, they made sure that they got into the top 12 or 13 at that point. So they are a big team. Then they are playing beautifully in other tournaments as well. So coming to the campus championship Bangladesh here, they really need to make sure that they go through to the finals, because they are a big name from the region. And the tournament upcoming, the complete South Asia finals, that is going to be what they would be eyeing on, and this is going to be the perfect practice round for them as well.
Exactly, because I mean, you talk about motivation. You've got so much money on the line, right? You
Yep.
have just everything working for these lads' favor, and we've had this conversation every single time we jump into these wonderful games by these skilled players, right? Because eventually, being in college, having this sort of an opportunity, walking away with, if you're at the MVP for $500, that's not an easy feat to come across. And again, I mean, if your team does really well, you are standing up for that $10,000 grab and opportunity, which is just ludicrous amount to talk about, of course. But with that, let's get busy with the awesome action-packed day. Let's move on into the game.
Yep.
Of course, this is going to be Erangel, and taking us through today. The observers have decided to take us through. I cannot see that. Is that Phantoms? That does seem like Phantoms is what we are sticking to right now.
Yep, Phantom Esports, it is that is going to lead the charge here, and we are going to go into this map of Erangel, a slightly western tilt in the plain path here, starting from from the west of the Novo containers out there and ending towards Stalwar, the hills of Stalwar. So we'll find out pretty soon how the teams are going to acquire the complete area of Erangel in this situation. I can see the Infernal Parasites jumping towards Novo Repnoy, so that's an interesting decision quite early in the game from Infernal Parasites out there. But we'll find out soon which are going to be the teams who are going to go towards the military area. And look at where the players of Venom are. The players of Team Z are heading. They are heading towards the southern part of Sosnovka military base. I would be pretty excited. How is this zone going to play a role with three teams on the military island at this point? It is going to get pretty interesting out there.
Exactly, right off the bat, this is certainly going to be bringing us some initial opportunities to get into the aggressiveness that we were talking about. Now, moving that conversation towards the northern part of the map. As of now, we do see the team of Python it was, as well as TM, that are going down towards the southern part of Stalberg. Now, another thing from the screen that we can walk away with is the information. So many teams are jumping into the action for game number one with only three-man squad. A team as wonderful as KSAX not being able to get all four lads into this lobby. Again, BFS, well, GG, but certainly let's see what exactly will the game turn out to be for these teams.
I really hope when it comes to KSX that it is a technical error. It's not because of the availability of the player. That is what I'm hoping, because they are a brilliant team from the region, and missing out on a player at this point playing with 75% strength is not exactly what I was anticipating from them. So there are three teams who are missing out. SCL EnvyUs being one of them. They are missing out on one of the players. Then we have a BFS. They have been playing the entire semi-final stage with three players only.
Yes.
So BFS coming in with three players is not a surprise, but definitely KSX is a big surprise for me out here.
Again, I mean, that's what I was noticing as well, Trooper, because we've spoken about BFS do that again and again, but now I'm honestly led to think that what if this team actually made it through with only a three-man squad compared to all the others who were part of a four-man army conversation. But this team, they did not really want to have that fourth man. They were just happy with the three-man squad. And it seems like if that is the case, then this team is something to look out for. But yep, with that, when we talk about the gameplay itself, we are looking at BMG right now, who've already gotten one kill. Wow, that is a beautiful start for this team. 3 minutes into the game, and this team has already gotten that 1 point. That is going to be, of course, the defeat that they were able to get against the player of, not entirely sure, but it could very well be the other team that is sharing this compound. And we are going to have to find out in a few minutes' time if this fight will extend or not. As we can clearly see, as of now, utilities are going going to be the most important thing that these lads need to get themselves sorted with. And talking about the utilities, well, GG play, because SCL, the other team that is in the compound, yes, that is the team that has lost that one player and given that 1 point away.
Sure, and I like the homework coming in at this point because in a lot of matches in Erangel, we have seen the city of Pochinki completely empty, and there have been no teams who have like contested for the city and gone towards the city of Pochinki. But here, finding two teams out here, this is a really interesting thing that I'm liking here from these teams. And SCL EnvyUs, they were one of the teams that came in with 3 men, and now they've lost just one player over here. So it's going to be a pretty passive approach for these two lads now. Knight and Hanzo, I believe, it's nothing much that they can do. Retreat is the best option for them. That is exactly what they are feeling as well from the city of Pochinki. They don't want to extend this fight anymore. Then we'll see how they go ahead into the game.
Exactly. For now, Knight is certainly slowly and steadily, backing out of that Pochinki area and is certainly going to be moving on down towards the southern hills. But that is where I'm sure he's going to be missing a vehicle. A vehicle is going to be able to help their situation out that much more better. Also, another thing to talk about for this team is going to be Envious as well as Knight. They are a bit separated. So if they do end up getting some faraway shots, that could be troublesome. But once again, it seems like they will be able to get out of that pushing area, no problem at all. So looking okay with a decent amount of loot as well, with level 3 backpack on Envy as well as level 2 kit. So that's going to be perfect. Now move that conversation towards this team. Now, this is where we are at Saverni, by the way, lads. We are looking at Saverni, and we only have one team dropped in towards that zone.
Yeah, but it's a pretty big advantage for the team that has that big area to loot up. We'll find out which are the teams who are looting up that area. But coming to and speaking about Crypt CS6, right at the bottom of the charts, at the 32nd position, that is how they are starting this day. And with 4 games remaining in hand, there is going to be in the back of their minds. No one wants to be at the last position, right? They just want to go into the midst of the thing. So we'll find out how the players of Crypt CS6 are going to play, and let's see what sort of impact can they make in the 4 matches that they have today, and how far they are going to extend their in the overall standings.
Exactly, because as you so perfectly mentioned, this team is on the final place. That is the 32nd place as of now. And when it comes to the kill department that they've been able to get from all the games, it is only 6 points. Only six
No.
points from the kill department. And that is something that is not looking good for this team. But overall, hopefully today is going to be a different day. Today is going to be one of those days that they will be able to bring up their aggression level and showcase to the lobby that, yep, we are here and we are going to be dominating whenever we can. But talking about domination is where we perfectly move in towards this lad, or rather this team of Team Z. Again, we did see them drop on down towards the south of the map, which was again military base, and they had another team right next to them. And as of now, they seem to have made a rotation, and A1 Esports is not going to be too far away from their position.
Yeah, let's see how the things are going to shape up for Team Z. And Auto AM, this was a team that was really impressive during the round of 128 blotter, and they really were looking impressive at the point, leading their groups completely. But now it was anticipated from Team Z that they would outshine here in, and they would be the underdog team that would come out on top during the semi-final stage. But that has not been the scenario so far. We'll see how the things change for them as the day progresses ahead. But it is going to be a pretty tough challenge for all these teams, right? With teams like A1 Esports in the lobby, KSX there in the lobby, we have bots in pajamas also. They are going to give significant amount of challenge to these teams. But let's see how these teams are going to come out with this challenge.
Absolutely, bots and pajamas, just the name that I was wanting to mention. When it comes down to teams that we were keeping an eye out towards, that is another team that did not end up having a good start, but there are a lot of hopes from that team as well, because they have showcased some really, really good gameplay, some aggressive gameplay from that team. And well, hopefully today, again, there are so many teams, right? When you talk about the entire saga, there are so many known teams that you do want to be able to see, to walk away with not only the money but jump into the finals itself. But right now, the conversation is 32 teams in total, only 16 are going to be moving up into the finals. They have today as well as the next 2 days to get this working in their favor.
Yep, that is all we are here for, right? That is the most important thing. Who are going to go inside the finals, and all these teams are going to try their hearts out to be that top 16 teams, and that is exactly what we want them to see. So coming in from the efforts of CRYPT, CS6, and teams like SCL EnvyUs, we are really anticipating a big effort coming in from these lads, and we'll see how these teams are going to respond to the situation where they have been put into, and that is exactly what is the test of the characters. I would like to mention at this point that it was 1952 who were really on the fourth page when they completed their 4 matches, but the way they came back and they showed
Oh
that
yes.
character inside them, that they can be a really tough guy, tough team out there to beat, and that is exactly what we would be expecting out of these underdog teams who are going to play out there today.
Exactly, and with that, it seems like the team that is on the 32nd position has found an early aggression into this game. And talking about early aggression, it is not looking good because Phantoms are the one who are in control and in charge of this perfectly controlled push coming in from them towards the compound of CRYPT. CRYPT certainly have a compound, so they should be able to, better control the aggression coming in from Phantoms, but they are not being allowed to do so. When it comes to communication from the lads of CRYPT, they are a bit altered down as players are going down. We've got Akugo down, we've got one player from Phantom who's been knocked and as well as actually killed. So there are a few points going down towards CRYPT at the moment, but they are not looking good. With only one final man surviving, Midul will not be able to hold that reign for the team, and 16th position is what we see CRYPT walk away with, but they did get that one kill.
Yep, they did get that one kill, but it didn't look like a team that knew what to do exactly. And Phantom Esports were looking to dominate the fight from the word go, and they would be really disappointed on losing one lad from this fight. But that is how it is going to be. CRYPT have been eliminated from the game, but 4 important points coming inside the tally of Phantom Esports, and it is going to be a pretty good confidence that they're going to carry up ahead into the into the later half of the matches. We'll see how they are going to convert this confidence into some big points. Can they do it or not is the question right now.
What is happening right here with Bots in Pajamas? He seems to have been a part of the process of A1 Esports as he tried to make that rotation. His team is up on top of the hill, and this is looking like not a situation that, of course, BIP players wanted to be a part of. A1 Esports and Nestor is the one with the information and is going to want to try and get that kill converted for him so as to be able to get that point. As of now, he does know that if there's one lad, there certainly are going to be more because he only sees one. But where's the team at? And the team is right next to him up on top of that hill.
Yeah, and they're looking to find them as well. We'll see what they are, how this fight progresses. Because at this point, with that vehicle out of the equation, it is not going to be an easy exit for that lad right there, stuck out in the open. And with Avon Esports in the vicinity, I can see more people there in the backdrop. That is the team of KSX as well. They're going to spot the smoke as well. They're not going to make things easy for that lad to get away from that situation. We'll just find out in some time how is he going to get away from there, or is he going to become just 1 point in either of the team's tally. Look at that. There's the support coming in with that Dacia coming in. It's going to be very important. Now the lads are going to shoot at the Dacia as well.
Uh-oh, this is not looking good. One lad has been confirmed knocked. When it comes to Sinister, he is going to continue on the barrage, continue that lead going down towards those vehicles. He was able to get that one vehicle blasted, move that conversation towards the other one that he's got his crosshairs on, and will not allow players of BIP to walk out of this sticky situation that they find themselves in this game. This is just ferocious. And as you were mentioning, we do have K6's 3 players who are on a flank angle towards the right of this exact same position that Sinister Dante are in. So we could maybe even see a third party coming in from the side of KSX, as they also, when it comes to aggression point, when it comes to the kill department, they do not falter back.
Now my question is, Blotter, is there going to be the third vehicle that is going to be committed for the rescue mission from Bots in Pajamas? And because the area where they are fighting and stuck right now is now out of the zone, it is going to be a pretty difficult thing to handle. And look at that. With the team of BMG closing in on the other players as well of Bots in Pajamas, it's going to be a pretty hard decision for them to take. And they do not have much time on their hands to take that decision as well. But where are the players of Team Z? They are heading back towards that military island. Do you think, Lord, at this point it is the nice decision to go towards that military island?
Okay, that's what I'm actually noticing as well. It's the southern bridge of the map that we see Team Z on, and they are most certainly making that rotation from Fairy Pier back towards the military base, and they are hopefully guessing that when it comes to the circle, it is going to be favoring them. When it comes to, well, again, we do know when it comes to PUBG Circle, it favors nobody, but the prediction of the circle could very well be towards the bridge area itself, and that could work out in that team's favor because there is no other team on their on 9 o'clock, and that's going to be perfect on their 6 o'clock, rather, is what I mean to say, because if there's no team behind you, you know that you can push on aggressively towards the center of the zone, towards the center of the circle, and not have to worry about at least any third parties coming from behind. And that is maybe the approach right there, but we'll see if the circle will give them the opportunity to do so. But talking about A1 Esports right now, they have found themselves at the edge of a cliff right here, and right next to them is going to be Team Mercenaries.
Yeah, it is a pretty interesting point to hold up at this point, both for Mercenaries and A1 Esports, because with this kind of a circle, there are going to be a lot of teams who are going to try to cross the waters from either side eventually. And if the zone does go towards the southern side, with both the bridges out of the equation, it's going to be a really, really chaotic situation for teams to go towards the military island if they try to go out for swimming. And with A1 Esports holding the cliff, it's going to be a perfect situation for them to do some fishing and get some points for themselves.
Most certainly, and that they are hunkering themselves down for. But talking about BIP, we did see that team was
Yep.
not looking good as they were caught out in the open, and their players have been slowly and steadily knocked down as well. We just noticed in the kill feed that two more players of BIP were perished, and that is not looking good because Python is the one team that is in charge. And with that, 15th team to get knocked is going to be none other than Bots in Pajamas. A sad start for the lads, but hopefully things will turn on around in the upcoming 3 games. Move that conversation towards, well, Python again. I mean, they are outside the circle right now, but the way they are rushing in and pushing on along, they seem to be gunning for the team that I sadly cannot see the name of. Oh,
Let's see. That is the team of BMG, I believe, on the edge. That is going to do the gatekeeping for them, and it's going to be a difficult thing for this team to get inside the zone from that segment. But the zone, it did
yep.
give a pretty hard shift back towards the main island. So whatever Team Z was betting on, they have lost the bet completely. But coming back to this equation where ImmensityX is trying to enter from the northwest edges, and we can still see the players of KSX holding up that compound, that big red cubicle compound that they're holding up right now. But it's going to be a very troublesome situation for Immensity, just like you predicted, brother, over here. With this push coming in from BMG, it is just a matter of time. And look at that, nades falling in. One more player falling down to that nade. So more points there. They are sensing that, and they are not going to stop at this point. That is what I feel about BMG.
Ouch, that is a sad situation that they're stuck in. 3 lads were down. Now, of course, we're moving it down towards the 3-man army itself. Chief was the man from the side of Immensity who was trying to hold down the reins, was trying to get the revivals made for his teammates. But eventually, the way they found themselves in that position is not looking good because BMG were certainly in control. But thankfully, again, you talk about Immensity going down into the lobby on the 13th position. It's okay because they did end up getting decent amount of kills as well. So that's going to be favoring them. At least they've got few points working in their favor. Talk about A1 Esports. Now, this team is looking pretty happy with the zone, and they have a lot of information as Jax right here brings down players of TRZ.
Yup, TRZ on the ridge that A1 Esports generally likes to hold up. So don't they know exactly what sort of position TRZ is in right now, and that they're going to make some significant damage on them as well. We will find out pretty soon how Mamba is going to play this game. But look at that, players falling down from the team of SOB out there as well. So this is not looking a good sign for them. That is Phantom Esports, I believe, and let's see how they're going to deal with this situation. 3-way fight on our screens right away.
Exactly. Along with that, when you talk about the kill feed, I am noticing that when it comes down to Team Z, one by one, play zone is knocking them back into the lobby. But move that conversation towards TRZ, a team that was at the receiving end thanks to A1 Esports. Now it seems like we've got a bit of a change of events where TRZ have rushed on along, and it is going to be the sad state of affair for... Damn, the 3-man army not looking too good right now.
Yeah, sure. It's not looking very good, but SLX DEADSHOT, they're giving a tough fight here. Choco for the win, getting some points over here. White Cat eliminated. Mamba is knocked down. Atomic is the last guy standing who's got a gun in his hand, and he's not getting space. He's being crumbled for space by his knock teammate out there just behind the tree. So it is a pretty decent fight that SLX DEADSHOT has turned on its head, and TRZ is not a team to go down that easily. But here, what we are witnessing is SLX is giving a really big challenge to these lads.
Most certainly are. And again, I mean, you talk about that final player from TRZ who was knocked, who was at the edge of the position that was held on. But oh boy, talk about third parties. This is where TRZ, even though it seemed like that fight could have been theirs as they were bringing in control, sadly have been eliminated. And with that, we are now moving on into the 19th minute of the game. 12 teams alive, and Infernal Parasite right here is who we are following along with. All 4 members alive, 2 defeats to this team, so looking pretty comfortable. When it comes to the edge of the zone, that is where they find themselves, but now they are 341 meters away from the center of the zone, so they are going to have to make that rotation, but also be careful because it is an open zone that we are talking about.
Yeah, surely. It's an open zone completely. With this shift of the zone moving towards the slightly northwestern side, it's not going to be a lot of compounds or concrete space that we are going to find in action right now. And exactly what we are finding. Lads from BFS, they are out in the open. Lads from Team Mercenaries, just a shark to play with. Look at the where this lad Turgut is, and he's going to get down. And A1 Esports, Dante also knocked down there from other teams. So we'll find out pretty soon what is happening towards that part of the map. But here, BFS Slow Cheetah becomes the last lad to go, and that long distance kill from the players of Infernal Parasites with 3 kills to their name. They are looking good, but we need to focus that already 2 big names are out of this lobby. More teams are now falling out. Just 10 teams remaining, 29 players into the action. Infernal Parasites moving towards the eastern edge and trying to plan themselves with a cover with those vehicles that they are using right now. But a nade coming in from the players of Team Mercenary. We'll find out pretty soon what sort of impact are they going to make over here.
Well, it seems like he has been pushed. Wutu was the final player surviving, but not for long is the answer that he shall get for the nade that he did throw. Eventually, now we move the conversation towards 8 teams remaining. A1 Esports have slowly and steadily moved on along decently in this game. They have those 3 lads for now. They've got the 4 points working in their favor, and right next to them is going to be another team, which is going to make things a little bit more tricky because it is a 3v2 situation that we might see A1 Esports in. But again, they found the comfort of the compound, so that's going to be good for them. But there are so many other teams that have not been able to do so. Right here, we do see Exentric Infinity's player who is gunning down the players of BMG. Now, BMG did have all 4 members alive. They were slowly and steadily moving on along into the circle, but now they seem to be in a bit of a tricky situation as they're on top of that hill. But to get into the circle, they're going to have to lose that hill advantage, and as they try and do that, Exentric and other teams are well equipped and prepared to bring them down.
Definitely, and it's a pretty decent angle that Exentric Infinity is using up right now. It's not going to be easy for the players of BMG if they have to move down that slope with Exentric Infinity has got their eyes on. But look at that, once again in the kill feed, the players of SCL EnvyUs getting the better out of the players of A1 Esports who are holding up towards this double barn house area. Sinister is down, Jax is down. We saw Dante eliminated a little while earlier, so now 6ix9ine is the only guy remaining, and he's just like the backbone of this team right now. And with that big nade, look at that, he got he knocked 1 player down, he eliminated 1 more guy. So this is going to be the breathing space that A1 Esports required. 38 seconds on the clock remaining for the zone to close in, and A1 Esports is regrouping inside the double barn house.
Boy, oh boy, this has turned into quite an interesting turn of events. But the VSS right here, Knight, the 3-man army from SCL EnvyUs, is the man who is surviving. Right next to him, of course, was A1 Esports, who seem to have gotten all members revived and alive, and now will make a push and gun for Knight's position. And they will have to do so because they are trying to get into the circle itself. But it seems like A1 Esports will not be allowed to get that point, because after all, it is the Parasites who will jump into the action and steal that point away from A1 Esports. But that's going to be okay, because this team's still looking pretty comfortable with the 5 points that they've got in terms of the defeats that they've been able to accumulate for themselves. Waiting for Sinister. Come on, Hong Kong, move on along, because it is time to rush towards the center of the zone.
And look at that, Blotter. Once again, this is Infernal Parasites moving with the vehicle. So they're showing how important the vehicles is. But look at that, the players of Static, CRYPT, NRZ already inside the situation. A bit of a cover coming in from Marshall, but he's been really amazing the way the team of Infernal Parasites has been playing. But BMG now using the ridges beautifully. Luckily, due to the shift of the zone, they did not have to come down from the slope where teams like Exentric Infinity could have been dangerous for them. On the other hand, the slope is now playing as a brilliant cover for them, and they are still in part of the zone. Look at that, Jax also taking down players of Infernal Parasites. Shots coming in from BMG on all these teams that are trying to get inside the zone from the eastern side. So just 5 more teams remaining. BMG looking the favorite at this point.
Boy, oh boy, I mean, in all of this, yes, we do have the 5 teams remaining, but I'm really happy to state that we do have KSX still part of the game, who have gotten 2 kills for themselves. All 3 members that they walked into this game with are still alive and looking pretty comfortable. And as we do so, we are brought down to 4 teams remaining. A1 Esports still certainly looking pretty comfortable with the positioning that they've got. And right here, it is Exentric that has been trying to gun for BMG for the longest time, but somehow BMG's players are surviving. All 4 lads are still surviving. It seems like CRYPT has overextended himself right here. Maybe could be a situation that he did not want to be a part of. We will see, because on the other tangent is going to be A1 Esports. So Exentric could very well find themselves in a bit of a sandwich situation for the moment.
It's going to be a really historic moment if we see, because CRYPT is, as we know, the 5th player from A1 Esports. He's playing in the campus championship from this lineup of Exentric Infinity, and if he falls down to the players of A1 Esports, it's going to be something even they are going to remember for a long time. But right now, Exentric Infinity, though, by the looks of it, are going to get sandwiched if A1 Esports decide to close in. But look at where the zone has gone into, Blotter. A sudden shift of the zone. This is going to open up things for the players of KSX as well. 3 guys still remaining. They have regrouped themselves, but now CRYPT going haywire on the players of BMG. And whenever we look at BMG, either 1 or 2 lads are knocked down there. But look at this, CRYPT eventually falling down there from the shots of A1 Esports and Nesta. So this is exactly what we were anticipating out there to happen.
Boy, oh boy, I mean, BMG, I have to give it to them. These lads are so determined, so very determined. I mean, they have been in the crosshairs, in the fire, in the line of fire for the longest time, but they are not wanting to run away from this position. Slowly and steadily, now of course it is going to be the zone that will push them along, as we see one final man who is going to be, no, rather 2 players from BMG who are still alive and will be hopefully able to get into the zone. But it is Jon Snow who seems to be able to, get that working for him. He's got a perfect utility set up for himself when it comes to the helmet, thankfully, but the vest sadly is not working for him. With that, he's the final man surviving for the side of BMG. Talk about Exentric, there is also 1 man surviving, but will he be able to take care of the train all by himself? This is also 1 final man for the team.
Definitely, Thunder is the last guy remaining, and as we saw, Jon Snow already, he's got 7 kills against his name, so he's done the job pretty good for his team. But now he's the only solo guy remaining. Let's see what sort of impact he can make with KSX once again inside the final circle. They came in with just 3 players inside this game, and they made sure that all 3 players are there in the final circle. We have KSX versus the big name from the region, A1 Esports out there. Can Jon Snow make an impression out here? That is going to be something we're going to watch out for. But if he's on the shots, he's getting some shots here from A1 Esports. He might just go down there, but no, he takes down 2 players. Jax down, Sinister down in front of IFT's M43X out there. And BMG, Jon Snow eliminated at this point. Now the push is coming in from KSX. This might be just their chicken dinner for the taking. 6ix9ine is the only guy standing from A1 Esports. Look at Maharaj with that flank angle. He's trying to close in on A1 Esports. Still one of the lads is down. Sinister is low on health. 6ix9ine is the only guy with that huge HP in his side. Maharaj very close to himself. Let's see if it's going to be Sinister who's going to be next. If he is down here, Maharaj trying to take down Sinister, but Sinister has still got a cover to play with. A1 Esports takes away the chicken dinner from KSX out here.
Perfect turn who went for A1 Esports. Indeed, as we started the day off, we were talking about how big a leap is this team going to be making in today's games. Well, here we go. The barrage has started. With that, they have moved on to the 13th position with 13 total kills, walking away from this game to 28 points to this team. But also commendable effort coming in from KSX, because they slowly and steadily, no matter how you bring that conversation, they were a three-man army. They were not part of those fights, yes, but it did eventually work for them because after all, well, they still had decent placement points and kills. So overall, a decent outing for the team.
But yeah, you got to give it to Jon Snow, but you got to give it to 6ix9ine. We saw multiple times that his whole team was on the knees, and 6ix9ine was the only lad remaining standing tall there. And he made sure that even in the final circles, he held on to his nerves, and his team got the chicken. But this is the moment of MVP for Jon Snow. He got 3 kills with that single nade, and in the overall, he got 7 kills with that 1184 damage. An amazing performance coming in, and I hope this can just lift the spirits of his teammates as well.
Absolutely. I mean, here we are looking at a lad who all by himself has been able to get 7 kills along with the 2 assists. And that is a dream for so many of these teams because they are walking away with only 1 or 2 kills. And those points that this lad has been able to bring in towards his teammates is just absolutely commendable and phenomenal. Move that conversation towards the top players. Of course, Jon Snow will be there with the 7 kills that he got, but Sinister as well as 6ix9ine going to be on right next to him with 5 kills each coming in.
Yep, this has been the game that A1 Esports and the fans were anticipating this comeback to come for A1 Esports, and it has come in the 5th all-important game with Sanhok and Miramar to follow. This is going to become a very interesting day for the fans of A1 Esports, I'm sure about that.
No two ways about it. This is just the way that they've started the ball rolling in their favor when it comes down to their placement and it comes down to their kill department, when it comes down to the aggression, the conversation, the synergy, everything was on point. And also another thing to bring up is going to be the fact that A1 Esports in this game, we did see them, they were not just stuck into that one camping spot. They kept on moving. They made those rotations. They moved on to get those kills. There were moments where they almost lost it as they tried to make that push against SCL, I think it was. But boy, oh boy, what a wonderful turn of wins it has been. With 28 points, 13 kills to this team. And very close to them is, of course, Team BMG with 20 points.
Yeah, BMG, they'll have to give to the performance from Jon Snow completely. Just one lad getting 7 kill points for his team, taking his team into the final circles as well. And it was a beautiful roll of the zone as well that they controlled the team of BMG, and they made sure that they got the better of the team of Exentric Infinity at that point. That helped them. But look at what has happened here. Big names falling out and not getting a good points out of this game. Bots in Pajamas missing out, TRZ missing out. When these are going to be the 2 teams we got to keep an eye on. How are they going to make a comeback? Because it has been a disappointing opening game on this day for these lads.
Exactly, dude. That is so true. But again, I'm hoping that they bring in the reins for themselves really swiftly because, well, they've got 3 more games remaining. And those 3 games, once again, you just need one good game to pick up your morale and boost your morale, your team's morale, to get into that sort of a mindset that now it is going to be that much more crucial, and therefore we are going to be delivering with every single game. With this gameplay that we just saw from BMG's players, I mean, this team before this game started, they were looking at 25th position, but now thanks to the 20 points that Team BMG walked away with, they are going to be making a jump, making a lead all the way up to the 16th position or even 15th. Yep.
We'll find out that pretty soon. But one team that I am really excited about today after this game, and we'll see how that team progresses ahead, is SLX DEADSHOT. The way they handled that push from TRZ, which we were witnessing, and we'll find that out in these Oppo F19 Pro moments as well. Look at where TRZ is. We had SLX DEADSHOT right in front of them. This is the exact situation I'm talking about. How Choco and his teammates handled this push from the team of TRZ that we know has been a dominating force inside the complete campus championship of Bangladesh. So it was a pretty interesting fight. But Exentric Infinity, I believe that was a strategic mistake that they did. They were going to get sandwiched, and we predicted that to happen, and it happened with them eventually. So I think they should have at one point concentrated more towards BMG, and rather than going inside the zone, they should have tried to clear the fight. But let us have a look at the overall ranking, and that jump coming in from KSX. Now they are in the 4th spot. Infernal Parasite's also making a huge jump inside there in the top 8 here. This is going to get interesting as the day progresses ahead.
Wow, I mean, just two teams here with the 5 games that they have played have already moved up to the 4th and 5th position on the first page of the leaderboard overall, compared to all the other teams on this page who have completed their 8 games. So that is looking really, really good start to our day number 4 right here in the Campus Championship of Bangladesh region. But move that conversation towards other teams, like for example, A1 Esports moving up to the 13th position. Again, BIP not having a good start, but they are on the 10th position based on the gameplay that they showcased earlier. This is looking like one of those days that we could very well, this is going to be differentiating. This is going to be genuinely differentiating the storylines till now and what happens after day number 4.
Yep, and look at that. BMG making a comeback at the 21st spot right now. They would be hoping to improve. These are the teams, that underdog teams, we really need to watch out for how they are going to react, because this is the exact motivation that they needed from someone from their team to stand up and give a big game, and that is exactly what Jon Snow has delivered over here. We'll find out how they are going to capitalize over this confidence that they have built for themselves. Mercenaries were also good in this game. They did show their presence, so they would be hoping for a really good 3 matches that are remaining today. But coming to this last page, SCL EnvyUs missing out on the opportunity once again. CRYPT CS6 not making a huge impact, just 1 point out of this game. Team Z, look at that. We were expecting them to do something good, but look at where they are finding themselves now in the 26th position. DEADSHOT would not be really happy with where they are, but I am sure they are going to gain some confidence the way they handle TRZ. Let's see if they can capitalize and get some more points of the 3 remaining games or not.
Absolutely, Trooper. With that, we've got A1 Esports' players right here bringing in some really good stats for themselves. We've got all the players looking pretty comfortable with the kill department, and that is ferocious play. Now, another thing to talk about is going to be, I'll take the conversation back to Team Z. They started the game on the southern island itself. They were on the military zone. They were on the military base, and they made that rotation down towards Ferry Pier. And then, what exactly was going on in the mind? I just cannot fathom what must have been going on in the mind, because that was such a poor decision right there that they decided to do. And again, was it a water rotation that they were planning on doing, or what? But that is certainly going to be haunting them. But eventually, again, we still have 3 games remaining, and hopefully a team like Team Z can showcase and utilize that opportunity.
Definitely, it was a big risk that they took, and it did not give them any return, so they would be really disappointed with that.
Boy, oh boy, with that, we've got first game done of the day. We still have 3 more games remaining, but before we jump into the second game, what we're going to do is go on a very short break. Stick around, we're going to be right back.
Oh, you're keeping it real. I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, if you know what I mean. You got a good thing going. You got a good thing going on.
PUBG Mobile, Godzilla vs. Kong, all new collaboration, live now. In the latest version of PUBG Mobile, players may encounter titans during a match, just like in the movies. Let's learn more about the all-new game modes, shall we? Titan Strikes. The Titan Strikes mode introduces 3 titans to Erangel, Sanhok, and Livid. Godzilla and Kong move along designated routes across the map. Players can chase after them in vehicles, but if you get too close, you'll be knocked down and take damage. When Titans get ready to unleash a heat ray, the system will prompt players to leave the red zone marked on the minimap. Players equipped with high-level armor receive reduced damage from the heat ray. Titans will absorb energy which emanates gradually from the earth. Once the energy reaches a certain threshold, Titans release it and create Titan crystals around them. Different types of Titan crystals provide different effects. Erangel's blue Titan crystals are special throwable items that players can equip. They knock back and burn enemies who are behind cover. Sanhok's gold Titan crystals enhance players' abilities, making you run faster and jump higher. Livik's red Titan crystals give players the ability to detect enemies nearby for a brief period of time. These enhancement items give players an edge in battle. Use them and bring the chicken dinner home. With the help of Titan crystals, players have even more unique tactics to achieve victory. Godzilla and Kong roam Erangel and Sanhok respectively, and players may bump into them on Spawn Island. Players can preview the Titans' route on the minimap, along with Apex Cybernetics, and low, mid, and high-level monster settlements. Apex Cybernetics are scattered along the Titans' route, which contains many valuable supplies. However, players can only enter the facility after a Titan has destroyed the base. Players that arrive early will not be able to get into the highly fortified Apex camp. At the same time, defeating different monster settlements rewards good supplies. Monster settlements are mainly occupied by lizards and crabs. Players can use a diversion to divide and conquer. The monsters are big, so using a shotgun
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, if you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
Hello and welcome to PUBG Mobile Campus Championship Bangladesh region. We are in, of course, the semi-finals. Day number 4 is off to an interesting start. We were expecting Even Esports to bring up that domination level. They have done so beautifully. But along with which, now we move on to the second game of the day, and it is going to be on Sanhok. So, Trooper, what do you think, dude? Now it is honestly, I mean, again, this is what was predicted and expected, that teams till now that had not been able to showcase that wonderful prowess will be able to do so, because this is after today, all the teams would have played 8 games. And
Yeah, but
what team do you want to mention? Sorry, what team do you want to, keep your eyes out towards when it comes to the next 3 remaining games that maybe can throw a curveball?
well, yep, definitely. SLX DEADSHOT did impress me a lot. BMG was also looking good out there. So these are the two teams that are low on the charts, and I would be looking out for them. We'll see how they're going to do. But the game of Sanhok is here on its way. Even Esports coming in with a chicken dinner inside Sanhok, and by the looks of it, the plane path looks from hard in towards the dock areas, which is an invisible plane, to be honest. But the teams are spreading on this island of Sanhok beautifully. Look at this, a slightly southern first zone. So the areas of Paradise Resort, Camp Bravo, which are really, really like popular inside the early action of the game, are going to be out of the contest here inside the first zone. But Paradise Resort still inside the zone. We are going to see some interesting action coming in from the southern half of Sanhok in this game.
Absolutely, mate. Because again, that Paradise Resort, we do know for a fact that so many teams do love to go out there, but eventually in this game, it will be, of course, left out. But move the conversation towards early skirmishes. Talking about early skirmishes, we do have a lot of teams that are clustered towards the center, pretty much of this area right now, and that is where we could very well see TRZ bring in some real good approach to this gameplay. We could very well have a look at either BMG as well, who will maybe get their day started off with some kills, because we do know that when it comes to this map of Sanhok, it is a much smaller map, thus implying that teams do get into an aggressive start right off the bat. In the first 2 to 4 minutes itself, we end up witnessing 1 or 2 kills minimum. But talking about the teams, it is once again none other than BFS, who is going to be joining us with a 3-man army.
Oh yeah, once again VFS, and luckily KSX is back. But there was one interesting thing on the map out there, which I noticed. Look at where Dante is, just outside boot camp, and Sinister is the only guy who's reached towards Paradise Resort, and his all 3 teammates have taken a huge split at this moment in the early hype. They have not gone towards Paradise Resort, so it's a pretty different and interesting a pretty different and interesting rotation strategy coming in from the players of Avon Esports just after a chicken dinner. I would be really excited to see how this turns out for them.
Well, either that, Trooper, or it's a misclick. It could just be a misclick where there was a little bit of communication error, and the lad had already jumped out of the plane, and before he knew it, he was getting himself down towards Parasite. But never mind that. I mean, we'll see how it turns out to be. But right now, as we bring the conversation towards the side of Phantom Esports, now these lads are all sticking together for the moment, and they certainly are trying to get information from this perfect watchtower that they have got themselves set up in. A1 Esports' player are down low, and well, thankfully, the shrubs and the trees are going to be kind of helping, but not really. Not really. It seems like Phantom Esports' players, they do have a hint of a team being down there.
Yeah, they definitely have a hint. And look at the amount of loot that they have gathered already. This is just 3 minutes, 40 seconds into the game. We can see the lads, they already have helmet vests out there, a 6x and M4 that they are using right now. But two players from Avon Esports stuck in this situation at this point. If Phantom Esports play their cards correctly, it can be two early points for them inside Sanhok. That is exactly what they require inside this game. But we'll find out that pretty soon if they're going to capitalize over these two players or not. Or the other two players of Avon Esports are going to make an appearance inside this fight against Phantom Esports. If it erupts with time, we'll find out.
Ooh, Dante there. Dante was so spot on with his crosshair. He just needs to keep his eyes pierced towards that exact same watchtower that Iron Man is calling his own for the moment, because eventually, as soon as Iron Man makes a shift from that, he will be given away information, some really crucial information that A1 Esports says Dante as well as Sinister are going to be retaliating back towards. But right now, when you talk about the team of A1 Esports, it is a two-man squad that is setting themselves out here. On the other tangent, the team that they are trying to keep their crosshairs gauged towards is a four-man army. In fact, a three-man lineup is what I would say, because one player is on the down low, on the back end of this entire hill. So it would be Phantom Esports' three players versus Sinister and Dante. And also, talking about 6ix9ine, we did see 6ix9ine was making a rotation in the car, and it seems Sinister and Dante are going to get picked up along the way, hopefully.
We'll see if that happens or not. But this is Sinister coming in, and not and also the players of KSX outside there in the vicinity in the backdrop that we can spot. So A1 Esports really needs to like get together. Maybe that is going to be the first target for them at this point, with 16 teams, 63 players out in the lobby. This two split that they are playing might just prove dangerous for them. We'll find that out pretty soon. But this is a big confident team, right? And just with the chicken dinner in the last game, that is exactly the sort of confidence and the rhythm that they needed on this day. Maybe you never know if these two lads can make and change their strategy completely over here. We'll find out if it becomes fruitful for Avon Esports or not.
Well, with that, as we talk about A1 Esports being separated and split, we seem to have gotten one more player who is going to be Jax, as well as 6ix9ine. Actually, all four players are part of the same compound. They're going to be really happy, and they are certainly going to be bringing that crosshair now towards maybe Phantom Esports, because they do know that there is that one team over there. They might want to, but also talking about the utilities and stuff, not everybody that is part of A1 Esports right now that we saw has some real good loot for themselves. So perhaps for now, the conversation for that team is going to be to get out of this area and get some better loot acclimated for themselves. Moving down towards Team Mercenaries, a team that, yes, in the previous game did get into some aggression as well, did walk away with a few kills as well. But eventually, right now, they are also looking at a pretty fanned out setup. And it is CRYPT. No, CRYPT is actually far away. Never mind. It is just this team that is all by themselves, all by their lonesome.
Yeah, man, this is a good part of the zone, right? That they're controlling. And look where Fags is, and he's finding Crypt on the other side of the ridges, who are still in cover. But that fight might erupt pretty soon as well. With just a little movement from either of the team, they're going to find each other right in front of themselves. But speaking of other teams, let us have a look towards this part of the map where the teams are separated by this river, and we'll find out how these teams are going to come back. SCL EnvyUs, and not a knock upon them from the players of TRZ. White Cat is trying to make an impression from just towards the western shores of boot camp at this point. So with Phantom Esports also looking around the corner, this is going to be a pretty important rotation coming in. And look at where they are rotating. They're rotating away from the zone. So they know the importance of how they have got to avoid all these teams that might just notice them from this situation. And this is a pretty important step that they are taking in the context of the game at this point.
Exactly, that is going to be really, really crucial, because again, this is where you talk about the conversation of homework, right? So when you do your homework right, when you do know who you're playing against, you will know that these sort of rotations, even though they might seem a bit out of the box, they might seem a bit ludicrous, they are crucial. They are essential for you to find a better placement into those final zones. And along with that, TRZ, I mean, they do not back out. You know, whenever they see a team, even though that team was all the way on the other side of that river altogether, of that water body altogether, They knew they will not be able to get that point converted from that far a distance, but eventually they saw the team and they tried to take the shots, and they did so perfectly as well. So they did get 2 knocks out of that situation. But now, as TRZ's players move in to the back end of this camp, it is going to be an interesting conversation if Phantom or any other team is going to be waiting around the vicinity.
Yeah, but it's a big flank rotation that they have created for themselves. All four players are trying to avoid Phantom Esports, who were holding up inside boot camp and the areas near boot camp. So this is a pretty important rotation that they have made. And coming back to this vehicle, I don't think they're going to use the vehicle at this point, but we'll find out when. Still, if the zone moves further south, by the looks of the zone, or by the first zone, it was looking that the zone would go south. But look at what we have here. BFS, the three-man squad, is finding out players from Team Mercenaries and pulling them down. But in the process, Slow Cheetah gets caught off by Osman out there. He's put him down. Turgot into action. Marvel eliminated out of the game. So BFS once again going all out there inside the early half of the game, and that is not what they would be strategizing to do, because they are still quite low inside the overall rankings, and they really need to figure out how to get up over there.
Exactly. I was just taking a glance at their overall rank in itself. And when it comes to BFS, well, this kind of aggressive stance is something they do need to start making as well. But they do need to be a bit more cautious and careful, because after all, they do play with a 3-man lineup. And that 3-man squad is something that is debatable. But we shouldn't really bring it against them as well. Because in the previous game, it was absolutely evident that when you've got lads who do know what they're doing, 3-man squads could very well lead you to the perfect chicken dinner. But right now, sadly, that is not the case, as they are out in the open. Fags getting the perfect approach in this fight, and eventually, from the looks of it, will probably be able to knock down players. He was able to knock down players, but eventually will be taken out. It is going to be a conversation for Bull as well as another teammate of his, and this could be trouble. This could be trouble, but it's looking okay for BFS as they tried to get into this fight. They were able to get at least 1 point out of this. Eventually, it is Bulu who is not looking good, because after all, he was pushed with a team that had all 4 members alive. Eventually, Osman, the one who started this entire saga off with that perfect Tommy, will be knocking down those players, sending them back into the lobby. And it is the first team that we see, BFS, the first team, the 16th team to be sent back into the lobby.
Yeah, but to be honest, I really feel that Usman and Mr. Voodoo were quite late coming in to help Fags, because Fags did waste a lot of time trying to get away from those fights that he was trying to take. So Usman and Mr. Voodoo should have been there early to help him, because if they had done so, Fags would still be a part of the playing team. But that is not the scene. But the 3 kills for Usman and Mr. Voodoo. The concept now for them is quite clear. Just stay alive as long as possible. Try to get some placement points, and try to catch some players out in the rotation if you can, and just pick up some extra bonus points if you can. But look at in the map. Where exactly is Exentric Infinity right now? That long rotation coming in, they're still finding themselves towards the eastern side of Kowari region. But the entire second zone has shifted towards that Camp Charlie Island. So it's going to be a pretty interesting thing for Exentric Infinity. How are they going to make their presence felt inside in the final circles over there? Because we saw them in the previous game as well. They were trying to get inside the circle, and eventually they got into a sandwich situation, and they would certainly not want that to repeat in this game as well.
That is so very true. But as they make that rotation, thankfully, as of now, there will be no other teams. I mean, again, they could very well be going for that late rotation itself, sticking to the edge of the zone, and that would very well be a perfect turn of opportunity for them. But eventually, talk about opportunity, talk about gameplay. We are right now witnessing Team CRYPT, and this team, yeah, again, I mean, they have a really low key setup for themselves. They find themselves in the center of the zone, or very good position in the zone. They get themselves down into a compound, and then they just hold it. Last game also, we witnessed the exact same thing. They were on top of the hill. They had the compound working for them, but one aggressive push against them, and the entire lineup fell down. That is what I mean, I do want to kind of not throw curveball, but I do want to bring up BFS approach in that fight as well, because they were taking that fight in the open, but run and gun is not the game, is not the play. And that is something that lads are going to have to understand. before they try and get all Rambo aggressive.
Yeah, if given a chance to me, I would certainly switch the strategies between how BFS and the team of Crypt CS6 is playing. I would have wanted BFS to play a little passive, just because of the factor that they were playing three men, and Crypt
True.
could have gone and taken up some fights because they had all the players out there. They just needed to get some impactful knocks in the early half against any big team, and they could have made a serious impact and got those 4 points for themselves. But look at BFS; they were trying really hard to get the points. They have been eliminated, so that strategy did not work for them. But that is something that Crypt really need to keep an eye on. Now they are finding themselves outside the zone, so they once again have to make a rotation. We'll keep an eye on these three teams to be, and once again look at that. These three teams, ImmensityX, Exentric Infinity. These were the two teams coming in from the northwestern side in Erangel, and now from the southern side, these two teams might be finding themselves as neighbors in the future, in a little while. But that is a big cluster that is developing over the southern half of the zone, with team Mercenaries still lurking out, still lurking around there. CRYPT is out there. Look at where SLX Deadshot is, just towards the south of Shami as well. So a lot of teams are heading towards that southern edge of the zone here.
Absolutely. We are 15 minutes, almost 15 minutes into the game. 15 teams are still alive. I cannot believe what I'm seeing on the map of Sanhok. This is now a really passive approach that so many of these teams are taking. But as we move in towards the fourth zone in another 20 seconds, things are going to get heated up. No question about it, as so many teams are going to be so close to each other, so very close to each other, that there is no other way but to get into a fight. And that is what we're witnessing right here, where TRZ's Atomic is the one bringing down players of A1 Esports. He was not only able to knock, but also confirm that kill. And Sinister from A1 Esports has been sent back into the lobby. Now TRZ is preparing to take this entire compound for themselves.
Yep, and look at that. How important was 6 9's movement? He ran out in the open, but he knew the position of the players and the possibilities if he could be shot or not. And he's like sort of regrouped and come to the same side with his other two teammates. That is going to be an interesting and very important factor that 6 9 has pulled off here. They are going to really miss Sinister in this fight because TRZ, as we know, is a big team from the region, and up against A1 Esports, that is exactly what they needed. One man advantage that they've created for themselves. Now, how is A1 Esports going to respond is what we want, what we have to look out for.
Exactly, right here we do see Atomic as well as the other lads of TRZ making a lot of noise in the next vicinity, in the next compound, right next to A1 Esports. And along with that, when it comes down to the nade parade, I'm guessing it should start any moment now from these lads. 6 9 is trying to hold his steady, is trying to not give away any information, but White Cat, Atomic, they're all prepped. They are all set up and ready to make this push. And it is 6 9
Ooh.
who will be on the receiving end. Mamba bringing in a perfect nade. 6 9 not able to, well, do much out in the open. And Dante is left all by himself.
Yep, Dante's made that flank towards that wall, and I would really like to feel that he could have done that flank a little bit earlier, but now he's there, and that nade is out there. But Mamba making sure he's getting that pressure on Dante. He goes down as well. Jax is the last guy remaining. Up for three players to be in fact coming close to him, but he's created some sort of pressure over Mamba here as well. Let's see how is Mamba going to react to the situation. He's been hit. He's down towards almost 70 HP, but there is the end with that. Uzi. With that Thompson, that is the end for A1 Esports down against TRZ, and that is something the fans of A1 Esports would not like to see at this point in the tournament.
Ooh, boy, oh boy, what an interesting fight that could have been. But, well, A1 Esports is the team to be sent back to the lobby on the 15th position. They did get a really good game in the previous one, but this time around, they walk away with 0 points for them. And in that, doing so, they've actually provided the opportunity to the other teams in the lobby to now take the reins and hopefully start a bit more collecting more points basically. But in that, along with which, we do have the game moving on along, the circle moving on along, and so many teams are out in the open. The circle is going to be pushing the teams to be out in the open, and this is where a lot of fights are going to be taking place. CRYPT right here we can see onto the southern edge of the zone, where one player has been knocked and another player has actually crossed across the street altogether. So this team is divided. CRYPT is certainly divided as they make that rotation, and Team Z right next to them is going to be utilizing the compound, is going to be sticking to the edge of that zone, as we still have SLX as well as BIP. And well, again, BIP seem to be making a rotation down towards IPG's instance, and that's going to be working for them. So again, Team Z looking pretty comfortable with the position that they've got. Right next to them is going to be CRYPT, but again, they don't seem to be sharing any information, any gunfight whatsoever for now.
Yeah, but not a lot of information that is being shared. But look at that. Bots in pajamas. To be really honest, almost half the matches for the day are almost over. And they have not able to make any significant impact over the games so far. They got a bad angle to start with. They got caught out in the open. Caught out in the open. They lost some players over there, and ultimately they were eliminated from the game. But now they really need a good Sanhok game out here. But stuck out so far in the open in the West. All the teams, all the big teams have like hold up the circle right now. It's going to be a pretty difficult thing for Bots in Pajamas to make a significant impact on this game as well. But we'll find that out pretty soon. And as we spoke of earlier, there is going to be a cluster towards the southern side. And look at this shack. It is holding up two teams, like separating two teams from that mere wall, from that mere wooden wall at this point, and it's going to get a pretty haywire situation for them. And look at that, ImmensityX making so much damage on CRYPT X. It is going to be a nightmare situation for this team further ahead as the day progresses.
It is an ouch moment, certainly, for CRYPT indeed. As we were just talking about it, they do need to be really careful of the compounds that they hold, and also the communication that they share when they do hold a compound. Sadly, that is not working out for them, and eventually it's only one man surviving. That will be the case for CRYPT as of now, as he's all by himself on the other side of that hill, of that road. But on the other tangent, Immensity, this has been a perfect turn of event for this team. They've got 3 lads alive as of now. Of course, they do need revival, but Rifat is right here, Dr. Rifat is right here, who will be taking care of them. But now CRYPT, middle is the final man. Is he going to be able to give this revive? Lelouch is rushing across. Thankfully, there is no team on top of the hill. Okay, I spoke too soon. Never mind. It's not on top of the hill, but right behind is that player that is going to be Dr. Rafat, who will confirm that kill for him.
Yep, that was a desperate crawl out there from the lad, and it's been like finally over with. So we saw Bots in Pajamas going down there. BMO caught out in the open. That is exactly what we were anticipating for Bots in Pajamas, that late rotation not working in their favor. But a lot of players are going down at this point, to be honest. With 12 teams, 41 players in this closing fifth circle, this is going to be a very chaotic situation for these lads. Team LZ is here in front of us. Team Z in front of us. SLX DEADSHOT getting quite close for themselves. They are coming in from the southern part of the game, and we saw a lot of teams in that half. But this is a good game coming in from middle as well. He's trying to create some pressure over the lads of ImmensityX, who are trying to concentrate over the lads of SLX DEADSHOT, who are on the who are just towards the left hand side of where players of ImmensityX are holding up. So this is going to get really difficult for all these lads. And look at that, SLX DEADSHOT still trying to survive. Meanwhile, ImmensityX have been eliminated in the 12th position. So in the backdrop, I can also see the lads of KSX fighting out. So they are holding the higher edge. They are going to make things difficult for all these teams coming in from the southern part.
Boy, these teams certainly are falling like flies right now, because this is just absolutely bonkers. We are in the 5th zone, 22 minutes in. We still have 8 teams remaining. As the circle progresses on along, as the game progresses along, there we see an exit from BIP. Bots in Pajamas walking away with 2 kills. Static Tribe, sadly, not able to get any kill whatsoever, so it is only the placement points that this team will be able to get. But talking about also Phantom Esports, all 4 lads are alive. They are looking pretty comfortable with the information that they've got. So can be said for the lads of BNG, because they have 4 defeats for themselves. DEADSHOT also with, sheesh, as soon as I bring up DEADSHOT, 6 kills to that team, but they have been sent back thanks to BMG.
Yeah, man, BMG is looking a completely different unit end day after the last game as well. Inside the last game, in the last half as well, they were playing a very decent game. And here also, they've already got 5 kills, not lost any players. So this is going to do a hell lot of good for their confidence right now. But as we speak, SLS Evilux have been eliminated from the game. Infernal Parasites getting those kills out there. But I can see there in the right-hand side in their live standing, only 1 lad standing for Infernal Parasites right now. It's going to be a pretty tricky situation, and as we speak, they have been eliminated from the game. So now TRZ, KSX, Phantom Esports and BMG out there as the top 4 teams inside this game. And look at where KSX is. Maharaj getting that knock over Atomic. TRZ getting caught out in the open. It's going to be a difficult situation, and this nade from Knight might just be the end for Rare out there. Let's see. Rare getting shots from multiple angles. It is a very, very bad standard situation for the last player of TRZ. But look at that. Third-party shots coming in on Knight, and he has been knocked down over there.
Out situation once again. I mean, KSX has certainly taken reign of this entire fight. BMGVC, they have the information now, but KSX Sakil is the one who's bringing in that nade towards the side of BMG's position, and BMG do need to get themselves, again, all the teams actually do need to get themselves into the zone, into the circle, but that is going to be pushing them out in the open, as KSX still now had a decent compound working for them. They are going to have to leave that compound, and that is where trouble could very well be invited for them. On the other tangent, on the other side of this exact position that KSX is holding, is going to be Phantom Esports. And Phantom Esports, even though are at the receiving end, they are looking pretty comfortable as they move on along. But it is KSX who are just raining down bullets throughout this lobby.
And I'm pretty impressed. Phantom Esports did manage to get both their players up at this point, and it's a pretty bold move to do at this point. But now they are back as four-man squad. Phantom Esports coming in. BMG was also looking good a little while earlier, but they have been eliminated from the multiple shots they were receiving from KSX and Phantom Esports as well. Now these 3 teams are there inside the final circle, and by the looks of it, KSX is going to make a serious impact over this match as well, but they need to make sure that they hold the zone completely. I'm pretty interested how the other lad is going to play his role inside this game, because he's just a solo player in front of these 4 players. Rare is the guy from TRZ making an appearance in the final circle. We'll find out if he ends up in the second spot. Can he do that, or can he get away with that chicken over there?
Well, this is not looking good for the side of course, the KSX as they try to make that rotation, leave that compound. It is them, they are in the open, and Phantom Esports was ready. They were well equipped to take this team down. Ifty right now does not have a lot of information. He only has the cover of that rock working for him. Thankfully, when it comes to the other lads of the team of KSX, they can get the revival because they have the cover working for them. But TRZ Esports' final lad, he could be the nail in the coffin for Phantom Esports, and that is exactly what has turned out to be, where TRZ's FPS comes on top, and he has gotten that one confirmed knock, but eventually, now he has to take care of these lads from KSX, and they're not going to be backing out.
And I think he just delayed the proceedings out there, and that is let's see if he can just make confirm one lad. That is exactly what he would be trying to do, and look at that, he's trying to confirm him, but no, denied completely, and that won't be allowed in front of the entire squad of KSX. They've got this chicken dinner, and they have made the announcement today beautifully, because in the first game, if you remember, for the day, they ended up in the second spot. With this chicken, look at this. In the overall ranking, they have overtaken Future Station. #1 position out of the 32 teams that are contesting already under the banner of KSX.
Beautiful play indeed coming in from the lads of KSX, and in doing so, we also have the MVP coming on. That is going to be Sakil with 5 kills and 571 damage that he was able to dish out into this game number 2 of our day. And this is just phenomenal, ferocious turn of events. I mean, this team right here is now going to be gunning for getting more points, because talk about consistency. They got themselves the second position in the first game, move on to get the chicken dinner in this game, whereas in the previous game, Evan Esports got a chicken dinner, got decent amount of kills, but this time around, but walked away with 0 points.
That is really sad as it comes to the part of Avon Esports, but I would give it to 6ix9ine, and we saw when 6ix9ine was there in the last game, they were sort of regrouping beautifully. They were holding the crux situation in their favor, but when 6ix9ine went down, Avon Esports also went down with him. That has been the story for Avon Esports in this game of Sanhok as well. But we'll have a look at the top players from this game. Ifty making another appearance in the top players out there with his teammate Sakil. Atomic was also there from TRZ, and KS, one more player. Sanhok is over here with his teammates. So it's a pretty decent performance coming in from the players of KSX at this point, and they are the #1 position in the semi-finals. And what else do you need at this point for them?
Exactly, and along with that, a cherry on top conversation is going to be they still have 2 games remaining. They still have opportunity to create a massive lead for themselves based on the 2 games that are remaining. So again, I mean, let's just keep our fingers crossed that KSX is able to showcase that phenomenal play again and again in the remaining 2 games. But move the conversation towards the other teams. I mean, TRZ held their ground. TRZ was the team that brought down A1, and overall, we did not actually see Team Z bring out the best in them. We saw CRYPT walking away with a few kills, so that was a-okay. But once again, I mean, they do need to, work on that synergistic play a lot more. I think the communication is what needs to be worked on a lot more from CRYPT.
Yeah, but it really does to be, and I'm really happy to see that SLX DEADSHOT is not here in the second page as well. They're trying their best that they could, and look at the amount of confidence that BMG is carrying. So both these teams are like having a pretty decent outing at this point. Coming to the Oppo F19 Pro moments, we'll have a quick recap of the exciting fights that we saw here. 6-9 going down here to this big nade, and then TRZ making sure that they capitalize beautifully. I would like to give it to Jax. He did bring up a good fight against the players of TRZ Esports, but Dante did not make any significant impact over that fight. But coming up to more fights out here, we in the final circles, we had some big action coming in from Phantom Esports against KSX, but the lads were really good enough to handle the situation, and in the last moments they did not even allow a single point to the lad of TRZ out there.
With that, KSX looking at a really comfortable number right there, which is going to be 111 total points converted for this team. 49 kills, 62 placement points. Boy, oh boy, with 2 chicken dinners, this team is rain and thunder in this lobby. Future Station, of course, has been brought down to the second page, or rather second position for now. But move that conversation towards the second page is where we see A1 Esports, Startup Tribe, as well as Team BMG.
Yeah, BMG making just having 2 big games and making a comeback. I'm really feeling good for this team at this point. We'll see how much they can extend their position inside the top 16 by the end of the 2 games that they have. And I'll really like to feel that they really have a chance with the way they are playing. They should extend and move towards the first phase. That is what they would be aiming at. But look at that slip. X Brothers coming down to the third page. 1952 falling down there. Exentric Infinity still struggling out there. So this is going to get really difficult for these lads as well. But SLX DEADSHOT, they are picking up the pace in these 2 games. With 2 games remaining now, let's see what they have, what sort of impact they can make.
Exactly, but the final page where we have teams like Immensity, Team Z, SCL, they can do better. I so want to believe they can do better, but as games keep running out, the opportunity for these teams also is running out and running away from them. That is now resulting in sort of a conversation that, the teams that we just witnessed right now on the 4th page of the leaderboard, it's not looking good.
Definitely, it's not looking good, and it's going to get as difficult for these teams to come back with every passing game. So they really need to make sure that they get some inspiration from the lads on our screen right now. KSX, what wonderful gameplay are they showcasing? Look at that Sakil with that kills per match of 2.6. This is a pretty decent number. 2.6 is honestly a kills per match that I do not get in Classics as well, and this lad is getting in this lobby. So these are pretty decent players out there, and they are making some serious impact, and amazing to see these lads getting on top just in 6 matches.
Absolutely, mate. With that, we've got the half of our day is where we're at. 2 games done, 2 more games remain, and so much that we wanted to see from the teams that are not doing too good. Like, for example, Team Z certainly needs to be that one team that would hopefully showcase in the next 2 games. With that, we are going to go on a short break. Stick around. We're going to be right back.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, if you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
PUBG Mobile, Godzilla vs. Kong. All new collaboration, live now. In the latest version of PUBG Mobile, players may encounter titans during a match, just like in the movies. Let's learn more about the all-new game modes, shall we? Titan Strikes. The Titan Strikes mode introduces 3 titans to Erangel, Sanhok, and Livid. Godzilla and Kong move along designated routes across the map. Players can chase after them in vehicles, but if you get too close, you'll be knocked down and take damage. When Titans get ready to unleash a heat ray, the system will prompt players to leave the red zone marked on the minimap. Players equipped with high-level armor receive reduced damage from the heat ray. Titans will absorb energy which emanates gradually from the earth. Once the energy reaches a certain threshold, Titans release it and create Titan crystals around them. Different types of Titan crystals provide different effects. Erangel's blue Titan crystals are special throwable items that players can equip. They knock back and burn enemies who are behind cover. Sanhok's gold Titan crystals enhance players' abilities, making you run faster and jump higher. Livik's red Titan crystals give players the ability to detect enemies nearby for a brief period of time. These enhancement items give players an edge in battle. Use them and bring the chicken dinner home. With the help of Titan crystals, players have even more unique tactics to achieve victory. Godzilla and Kong roam Erangel and Sanhok respectively, and players may bump into them on Spawn Island. Players can preview the Titan's route on the minimap, along with Apex Cybernetics, and low, mid, and high-level monster settlements. Apex Cybernetics are scattered along the Titan's route, which contains many valuable supplies. However, players can only enter the facility after a Titan has destroyed the base. Players that arrive early will not be able to get into the highly fortified Apex camp. At the same time, defeating different monster settlements rewards good supplies. Monster settlements are mainly occupied by lizards and crabs. Players can use a diversion to divide and conquer. The monsters are big, so using a shotgun at close range can deal huge damage. Players must also be wary of the Titan's attacks. Although they're not hostile towards players, they get irritated when there's too many players around. The Titan on Livik has unique electromagnetic abilities that affect the blue zone and cause it to shift every once in a while. Now, players must pay constant attention to the new play zones and transfer immediately when they begin to shrink, as to ensure they're not swallowed by the blue zone. Furthermore, Mechagodzilla periodically scans an area of the safe zone and marks the locations of everyone in the area on the minimap. This urges players to transfer or engage their enemies. Players must be extra careful. The Titan Strikes game mode is based on Battle Royale. Players must strive to be the last one standing amidst battling other players and Titans. With the addition of Titans, players are ready to witness their majesty and get their hands on the mysterious Titan crystals. Enjoy the all-new Titan Strikes and experience the earth-shattering might of the Titans.
Yeah, we got it, we did it! I know you'll be there for me.
I'll always be here.
Hello and welcome back to PUBG Mobile Campus Championship Bangladesh region. This is Season 1 semi-finals that we're in, day number 4. Got 2 games done. We still have 2 more games remaining. And again, with that, without further ado, Trooper, let's jump into this map of Miramar.
Yep, desert action upcoming, ladies and gentlemen, for you from the semi-finals of Campus Championship. And here's the beautiful C-130. We are watching Dante carry us inside this beautiful map that has been bisected from north to south by this plain path, just from the western side of that, just from the eastern side of that Oasis region, and over the city of Picado and Los Llanos is the plain path where it is leading us towards the southern shore of the map here. So a pretty decent plane path, I would say. Most of the cities are accessible from this plane path, so we'll find out and we'll see where the teams decide to go for their early loot. But once again, look at that, SLX, Deadshot, and BFS coming in with just 3 man. So it's going to be a lobby of 62 fighting out here, and I'm really disappointed with SLX, Deadshot. They really had a chance and they were picking up pace here, but at this point, coming in as a 3 man is not what I was expecting out of them.
That is so very true indeed. But again, let's just keep our fingers crossed that these teams, because again, the day started off with the KSX, jumping in with the first game itself with the 3-man squad. But what do you know? They walked away with the second position in that game. So looking pretty comfortable, right? And that then steamrolled in their favor as they got the second game chicken dinner. So
Yeah.
I have nothing against 3-man squads as long as they communicate and take fights that are, that are proper fights, that are based on communication, that are based on a synergy that you have within a 3-man squad. The fight that we saw coming in from BFS in the previous game was not one of those, but hopefully as time moves on along, things will change. But yes, talking about the zone itself, talking about the flight path itself, this is looking really comfortable for all of these teams. But interestingly enough, so many of them have decided to go down towards the southern part of this zone for the moment.
Yeah, but they have headed towards the areas nearby the city of Los Llanos, and it's a pretty big traffic over there. Look at that, eccentric Infinity is like almost in that big split from Minas to Los Llanos. That is an interesting decision coming in from them. We have Infernal Parasites, Avon Esports, BFS, and Bots in Pajamas. All these teams, even BMG was out there. So a lot of action is going to upcome pretty soon from the southern part of this game. But look at this, the first knock coming in, and it was of Will Jacks, but the second knock also coming in at almost at the same time here. And Team Mercenaries, they have eliminated facts they have lost facts quite early, but that is Phantom Esports making some early kills for themselves.
Exactly, a really aggressive start coming in from the side of Phantom Esports. But talk about Team Mercenaries, the team that was at the receiving end right off the bat in the first 3 minutes itself, have lost that one player in the name of Fags, which is not going to be good. But again, you talk about the drop itself. It seemed like the team was a little spread out, and that resulted in Fags being caught off guard from the lads of Phantom Esports. But move the conversation towards Team Z. Now, this is a team we do want to keep our eyes out towards, because this team, or rather, I do want to keep my eyes out towards, because this team has showcased again and again that when they do have good days, they have some phenomenal games. But right now, it is, of course, like we just said, Team Z that is going to be gunning on down towards the lad that is going to be Hanzo, and Hanzo is all by himself. But we did see Hanzo's team, that is going to be SCL EnvyUs. They are going to be approaching him from the eastern side. Yep.
Ooh, it's a pretty big run, and no, it's not going to get executed. It was a cheeky run that Anzo was trying to execute, but no. Team Z is good enough to spot that, and with that flank coming in from Sub Zero at this point, it's going to be a pretty deadly one for Hanzo, and I don't think his teammates are going to help him. Are going to be able to help him at this point. We can see his teammates lurking around behind the ridges over there. Dark OP, if I'm not wrong, is out there. So let's see if they can sort of buy some more time. And the smoke is helping Hanzo for now, but it's not a pretty healthy spot to be in for Hanzo, and this might just be curtains for him pretty soon.
Exactly, Team Z's player I high right here, who seems to be, going on to a perfect flank angle, but he's also at the receiving end. And another thing to talk about is this is so early into the game. When it comes to the utilities itself, so many of these teams do not have the utilities, and what exactly could be going on between the mindset of course, SEL's players, NVS players, is going to be something I can only speculate, because yes, Hanzo is all by himself. Dark OP is there to give him cover, but how How? It just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't compute well, dude.
It's an Herculean effort to coming in from Hanzo at this point, right? And getting away and surviving till this point is also something that has to be commendable, because he's pulled that off. He's got away from that situation. He's reached those ridges and holding up out there. Now these two players closing in on Hanzo, and this might just be the chance that Hanzo needed. And now it comes down to what sort of guns does Hanzo have. He goes down eventually to that AKM from the players of Auto Aim out there, and Dark OP could do just nothing and just see his teammate get eliminated from this point. But now we need to realize that SCL at this point is also a three-man squad. So we'll see what sort of impact can they make over here.
Exactly. I mean, Dark OP certainly did try and create that sort of a, that sort of a cover for himself, and now he is going to have to get away from that cover that he found in the name of Bales, because eventually, if he tries to overextend, Team Z is well equipped and prepared. And right here, lads, I mean, this is what you've got. Basically, class 101 for this sort of a lobby. There are a lot of you have to create opportunities, and it's not easy to get kills, like we just saw from Team Z. The effort, the valiant effort that they set up, creating that flank, pushing on along, and from Hanzo's aspect as well, from envious player Hanzo as well, he tried to survive for that long, because it's not really that easy to get those kills. And GG play, actually, a class 101 perfectly displayed by both these teams.
Definitely, and this is the exact kind of effort that is needed from all the teams who are still struggling on the page number 4, and Team Z unfortunately is one of them. So let's see if they can actually make an impact in the remaining 2 games. And it's a brilliant start for them inside in Miramar. They haven't lost any teammate at this point, and they've got some kills against their name. So we'll find out if Team Z can sort of capitalize over the start that they have created over here. Now coming towards Impala, this is a situation where we still find 2 teams out there. Static Tribe, they have not made any significant impact as in the last 2 games. They would really want a big Miramar game, and they find themselves pretty close to the players of Exentric Infinity out here inside the city of Impala. We'll see which is going to be the team that is going to come out from Impala, and who are going to have maximum number of kills out of this fight that is about to happen here.
Exactly, Cedric. We do see CRYPT right here, who seems to be really set up for the perfect flank angle on Stranger as well as Squeezer. This is looking absolutely dominating, but the only qualification is going to be, will he be able to take those shots? And yes is the answer. Squeezer, he should have responded, he should have retaliated, but he was a bit too late. In fact, when it comes to Infinity's player CRYPT, he is now prepared with a molly, and that is going to be placed perfectly, as it is not going to be bringing any damage as of now, but eventually Stranger will get himself away from that open position. Boy, oh boy, this is looking real good. This is looking like a really good fight. And in that, Excentric's player C Wine has a perfect flank working out in this compound.
Yeah, but I can see C1 and Shoykot at this point, and that is only the point of concern that is looking for Excentric Infinity out here. We'll see, and look at that. Radul, R3Dul is also out there to help him. So just 3 players for Excentric Infinity at this point, and they were in a big split in the when they dropped out of the airplane. So might be their 4th player just needs to make his way, and that could also open up a surprising angle over here. We'll find out that pretty soon if they are going to accomplish that or not.
Wow. I mean, just a few minutes ago when we did see the zone, it was so many teams that were looking on towards the Los Leones area, but now they've all scattered, they've all scattered away, and we're looking at
True,
all
true.
the teams set up for themselves individually. But in all of this, we see Team Z approaching from the Montenueno region. All right, that is going to be A-okay as they get themselves into the zone. We see BIP, Bots and Pajamas, going on down towards the Puerto Pariaso region, and they will be able to get into the zone as well. We've got right next to them the side of BFS, but I am missing a name. Why do I not see A1 Esports?
It's right there towards the northern side of Los Lunas right now. They're trying to get towards the center, and sort of in a sandwich situation. On one side, we can see KSX trying to rotate and get close to A1 Esports. BMG is just towards the northern side of them. And we'll see how A1 Esports plays in this game, because they had the chicken in the first game, but the second game they did not go towards their drop location, the Paradise Resort, and they were playing a different strategic game out there. But it is Miramar. This has been their strong point in the last 1.5 years. and we'll see how even Esports performs here inside in this Miramar once again. But definitely the fans would want them to bag a handful amount of points out of this game.
That is so very true indeed, and yep, they were looking pretty comfortable as they made that perfect rotation from Los Leones, northern Los Leones actually is what they were at. And right here, when we talk about Exentric, the fight still continues on. Seawine has given away that position that he was at and has now come down into the city of Impala, and it is NRZ who is on the run. They are not looking too comfortable with this fight. They don't have a lot of information, but Exentric is the one that is actually pushing NRZ's team players actually into a small corner to the edge of Impala City. And now Exentric will utilize this opportunity to push on along. But A1 Esports, as we're talking about it, is in the process of KSX Axe, and Sanhok is the one who wants to retaliate to Sinister's rotation and will not allow him to get away. Sinister barely surviving on that silver of HP, but not for long. Sanhok has been able to confirm that knock and now will be able to get that kill and that point for him as well.
Yeah, this is not a good start for Sinister once again. He got eliminated quite early in the last game as well. And that is exactly what has happened over here. So once again, now the three lads remaining, Dante, Jackson, 6ix9ine, have got to take their team forward. And KSX being a pretty difficult opponent right in front of their noses. Let's see how even Esports is going to cross this hurdle, or they're going to fall once again to KS. That is something we are going to watch out pretty soon over here. With BMG also lurking around the corner, and this retreat coming in from Avon Esports, I think this is a smart decision from Avon Esports at this point, and they have decided to sort of retreat this fight and go deep into the game. That is exactly what they require at this point.
Exactly. I mean, that is so very true. They were not in a good position as of now, and that is the kind of position, rather the decision that is required from A1 Esports to be able to, extend themselves into the late game circles. Because right now we still have all 16 teams alive. We're 12 minutes into the game. KSX Axe right here is the team who were looking pretty comfortable as they got into those fights, but now it is going to be Ifti who is left all by himself as he tries to get a few more utilities for himself. His helmet certainly could need an upgrade, and that's what he's trying to get himself working towards. Now, what exactly is he on the lookout for? It does not seem like there is a team, but maybe he had noticed one that was making a rotation earlier. And of course, it is always fair to not be running out in the open like that. You should always have some sort of a cover, if it comes in the name of rocks, if it comes in the name of vehicles, or even for that matter smoke. You should be utilizing all of those essential things to to make a rotation, or to even make yourself from one house to the other, or from one compound to the other.
Definitely, and at this point, I would like to give it to FT. Right, we know that we always get that information that there is a team or not, but a professional player at this level cannot afford to do and make silly mistakes, and that is the perfect example of how you should move out in the open. Those 2 or 3 smokes kept in your bag are not going to matter a lot once you are knocked down, and that is the perfect way to move out in the open. If you have to, moving in the open in the first case is also not recommendable, but if you got to move towards some sort of cover, make sure that you're using those smokes. Coming back to the game, it is a centralized circle. It's a concentric circle with the second circle out here, and look at all the teams coming in from all the directions right now, trying to bag some sort of cover or a ridge inside this new zone out here. KSX, they have a significant amount of breathing space. If these out there, look at that spread coming in from the players. Sakil holding up with his teammate out there. BNG trying to get close to them. And there is going to be a lot of commotion happening towards the eastern zone. Look at the number of teams, brother, coming in from the eastern side in this map, in this zone out here.
Absolutely, and as we move the conversation towards the side of A1 Esports, who are just at the receiving end, have gotten themselves a decent compound and are now going to be taking a few fights. But talking about fights itself, on the other tangent, we do have north of Picado, this team of sad state of affair, because Python right here, this is going to be extreme. I think that is going to be caught off guard right here.
Yep. Once again, a long crawl back, but I think he's going to make it this time. Architect is the player who is trying to sort of get back, but look at that brilliant capture from the observers out there. Marvel's nade landing just next to him, knocking him down out there. and that was Chief who got that nade. But look at this third party coming in from KSX as well. They're trying to bag and be part of as many fights as they can be. It's an aggressive stance coming in from the players of KSX, and I am really liking how the way they are approaching the semi-final stage at this point.
Exactly. Every single game, we do end up noticing KSX always get themselves to be a part of that kill feed one way or the other, and that is looking pretty ferocious for that team. Because again, I mean, that is a team that is looking at the top, or rather, sitting at the top of the leaderboard with 111 points, and there is nothing stopping them from climbing up further and creating a massive lead for themselves. But move the conversation towards Dark OP right here. We did see him initially try and provide some sort of a cover towards his teammate, that's going to be Hanzo. Has now found himself on top of this perfect hill spot and has a lot of information towards so many of these teams. As of now, he seems to be concerned for Ifti, and he's just trying to get into a position that he could then maybe convert that into a point, because having information is one thing, but then retaliating on towards that information with the perfect aggression is another conversation altogether.
Yeah, sure it is, and and you need to take those decisions at the right point as well. One thing only that I would like to add is the timing of the decisions with those information that you have is going to decide your fate in the game. And look at this. Now this rotation coming in from Immensity at this point, ImmensityX and Team Mercenaries trying to make an impact, and eventually Rifat goes down, and that is CRYPT middle out there making an impact. So for a change, CRYPT is having a decent game out here in Miramar. They're trying to bag in some points. But coming back to that position where we saw teams of KSX holding up, and SCL was holding up a higher ground over there, I'm pretty excited how things are going to shape if eventually the circle concentrates over that part of the zone, and that is going to get pretty interesting out there.
Exactly. I mean, you talk about kills, that is what we shall be witnessing as the circle, maybe if it moves on down towards there. But eventually, right now, as we look on towards Team Z, a team that has gotten themselves a decent compound working for themselves, they are in the zone, so that is going to be good. And now they can very well not bridge camp, sorry, but they can very well camp this area and look out for any other team that is going to be converting themselves or bringing themselves towards the compound, and that is going to be BFS for now, a 3-man squad trying to nail down Team Z.
Yeah, but they go down. Slow Cheetah came in rushing with that buggy of his. He's been pulled down. Turigat is also now here. He's trying to get away from this situation. Why try to get so close if you had to go away eventually? I'm pretty confused the way BFS has been playing these matches, turning out 3 players and then also taking significant risks, which they should not be doing when you are out there in 3-man squad. Now, we have Infernal Parasites holding up the higher grounds over the city of Picado. So that is going to be another added pressure to these lads, holding up Team Z being one of them. We can see KSX also coming and becoming and holding a part of Picado at this point as well. So that is the story from the northwest part of the zone. Coming to the northeastern side, it's bots in pajamas trying to do some gatekeeping out there, not allowing the players of BMG to enter the zone. But we'll see how things are going to change for them. And as we speak, the first elimination, once again, CRYPT CX could not make any significant impact over this game of Miramar.
Absolutely. For now, that is what the conversation has been for the side of CRYPT as they are sent back into the lobby. Talking about bots in pajamas, Razor did just take a nade. He is all by himself. He needs a bit more of a cover fire from his teammates, but teammates are a bit sparse right now, and they are going to have to slowly and steadily make their way. As they do the information with all the smoke, they will be given away to the other teams, and that is where IPG could step in and take things into their own reign and into their own hands. But bots in pajamas, I mean, this team is another one that can certainly be a part of the aggression in this game. It's just they getting caught off guard so many times is what results in them not being able to get decent amount of points. As right now, we are going to be looking at bots in pajamas, the ones that are at the receiving front, and this is not looking good again and again and again from the same exact side. How are you guys letting this go? IPG is just raining down lead towards these lads, and they are still interested in getting points converted on the other side of the hill.
Well, this is an interesting thing. We'll find out how that turns out for them. BMG have been eliminated at this point, but Infernal Parasites are holding the all-important higher ground, and this is exactly where we predicted the zone to come, and exactly what has happened here. This is going to get difficult for all these lads. And now Infernal Parasites have a really good opening over this half of the map. Look at the amount of area they are controlling Blotter right now with that high ground. They are making things difficult for bots in pajamas. We can still see a cluster just towards the northern edge of where the teams are fighting right now. It's going to get difficult for them as well. So IBG have a pretty decent spot that they are exploiting at this point in the game, and we'll see how far they can extend this exploitation of this high ground that they are holding up right now.
Again, bots in pajamas. Again, the same exact team that Trooper you were mentioning. That is going to be none other than, of course, the Parasite. It is just phenomenal how closed eye BIP is acting at this moment as they try and be a part of that hill. But eventually, they will not be allowed to share that hill with the Infernal Parasites being right next to them. But along with that, when you go down towards the south of the hill situation, we do have Exentric right here, who is trying to push on towards the side of Python Esports. And this guy, Showcott, all by himself, is trying to take on Iron Man as well as the other lads. And this is probably looking like a confirmed kill. He will be able to get that kill confirmed. As soon as he does, he will be having 4 kills to his team. That is perfect, absolutely perfect, as he now gets into the vehicle to get himself in the zone. But he is not being too careful because Python Esports' player was right next to him.
But yeah, Shuvo made sure that he punished Shoykot for eliminating his teammate. But Shuvo also realizes that the zone is closing in, and this is against the height advantage. This is in the dip, so he clearly needs to get that higher ground and contest over there. But look at what is happening here. KSX eliminated in the 10th spot out there, and I can see Team Z getting some good kills on KSX. So any team might just get caught in the rotation in these closing circles, and it is an amazing fight that we are witnessing out here. But still in the mist, the only solo player of Exentric Esports surviving tries to get in from the northern side, and he's made sure that he's carried his team inside the top 8 positions. And let's see how far can Exentric Infinity go ahead, because by God, they really need a big Miramar game to make an impact in the overall standing by the end of the day.
They most certainly do, and they are slowly and steadily, in the name of Seawine, trying to work towards that exact same goal. But talking about goals, Infernal Parasite have set a goal to take every team against them, to convert every team against them, and that is what they're doing perfectly with 6 defeats till now. We've got 8 teams remaining in total. In another 30-35 seconds, we're going to be moving on down towards the 6th zone. And once again, Internal Parasites, they are in control of the zone. They are in control of the information. A1 Esports getting eliminated on the 8th spot with only 1 kill. Sad state of affair coming in for A1 Esports in the 3rd game, but Infernal Parasites, this team is just knocking down players left, right, and center, and there is no team that is going to be stopping them. But we do see Team Z is approaching Infernal Parasites' position from a flank angle, and if they are cautious about this, it could be what Infernal Parasites did not anticipate.
Yeah, and Infernal Parasites have lost just 1 player out there. Heaven, being one of the good assaulters from the team, have been eliminated. Now they're reduced to 3 men, but they still have the higher advantage. But it is an important thing what Static NRZ is doing right now. They're carrying maximum players towards the west, on the western side of the ridge right now. Let's see what sort of impact can NRZ make, the Static Tribe team can make. And 1 more player going down from Infernal Parasites. Marshall is the next player. Dictator is down as well. So now Infernal Parasites, they have been utilizing the height of the ridge for a pretty long time, but multiple teams coming in from different directions are challenging them, and they're fighting among themselves as well. Look at TRZ taking down the players of Static Tribe at this moment as well. So as we speak, the last player, Thunder, has also been eliminated from Exentric Tribe, down at the 6th position. SLX DEADSHOT also goes down in the 6th position in this game. So we'll see how, and look at this push coming in. TRZ making a rush for it, and the last player from NRZ is trying to survive out there. Panda goes down as well. No, more 2 players from NRZ are still holding on to the ridges, but this has been an amazing push coming in from the players of TRZ right now.
TRZ is certainly looking dominating as they take on players all across the board for the moment. On the other tangent, when we did talk about this team of Team Z, well, GG indeed, because that is a team that has certainly made a rain on towards the side of Infernal Parasites and have just perfectly, gracefully gotten themselves set up onto that hill. But now the conversation is going to be, how exactly will they be prepared to take on this aggressive stance that TRZ is on, because this is looking absolutely in control for TRZ to be able to, take this fight for themselves. But 8 kills to this team. This team still does not want to stop. What exactly is going to be the name that will put an end to TRZ's absolute domination in this game?
I'm really surprised by the looks of it. The Ridge, how Static Tribe was trying to control the Ridge. I really thought they had a pretty decent opportunity, but TRZ made sure they made the push at the right time and they got them eliminated. But look at that, what Team Z is doing in this space. They are creating pressure on the lads of Infernal Parasites as well. And this is a pretty decent outing for Team Z. But two of the lads from the team are down right now, but they're making sure they are still getting and giving damages to the players of Infernal Parasites. One more kill in the tally for Team Z, and as you were expecting, daughter, a big game coming in from Team Z. That is exactly what has happened out here. 11 kills already. They are still in the top 4. One lad from Infernal Parasites is still surviving out there. He's Marshall. He's scanning his team still inside the top 4, and let's see how far can he take his team further ahead.
Exactly. We've got one lad surviving from the side of Infernal Parasites. On the other tangent, we've still got one lad surviving for the side of BIP Esports. That is none other than Shaddad right here. But he is out in the open. He's nowhere close to the circle. And as he tries to get that information relayed, or not information, my apologies, as he tries to get that position changed, auto aim, a bit of a misfire there. But eventually, again, they do know who they're up against. They do know the team that is going to be TRZ, that is going to be maybe trying to bring down Team Z from their pedestal, but it's not going to be an easy one. It's certainly not going to be an easy one. With that, we do see Infernal Parasite's final player has been sent into the lobby thanks to Sub-Zero's efforts. But he is in the open, dude. Yep, I was just about to point out he's in the open. Anyhow, with that, we still have 3 teams alive, and this is looking really, really good.
And it's really good that Bots in Pajamas made it to the top 3, but now they have been eliminated with 5 kills against their name. So it's a pretty decent outing for Bots in Pajamas as well. But one team that is standing out in their efforts altogether is TRZ Esports, but they have a pretty confident Team Z up ahead themselves. So we'll see if the 2 lads from Team Z, can they pull this miracle off? No. Mamba takes that a player down with that M4 and instantly finishes the second guy as well. So Team Z, they come up with a valiant effort in this Miramar game on the day number 4 of the semifinals, but could not go past against TRZ Esports, who have made a significant leap on that overall ranking as well with this chicken dinner. In 11 kill chicken dinner in this game, taking them to the hashtag 3 spot. By these lads, they are now making impact in the overall standings. We saw KSX getting to the hashtag 1 position after the last game, and now TRZ in the top 3.
Well, what a beautiful turn of events it has been for the lads of TRZ Esports, walking away with 11 kills, 3rd on the overall ranking, 1850 total damage dished out. And again, I mean, when you talk about the lobby, right, I mean, it seems to have been divided between TRZ and Team Z. This team walked away with 11 kills. The last I checked for Team Z, it was somewhere about 8 to 9 kills confirmed. And wow, what a perfect, ferocious turn of events for both these teams. Move that conversation towards the MVP. It is going to be none other than Team Z's player. That is going to be Sub-Zero. He's the one who moved in towards the position of Infernal Parasites, knocked them down from that hill, got 3 kills, but along with that, assisted with 4 more kills as well.
Yup, and look at that brilliant stats that he has. But a mistake in the final circle, looting out in the open, did punish him. And adding to that, I would like to say he did not have an idea where Shadat from Bots in Pajamas was holding up, because he really did not give away a lot of information, and that was a surprise knock coming in from him. Completing the list for the top players for this game, his teammate Maya Hayes is going to join him over there. I'm really sorry for the name. Ayaz is going to join him in the top players. Then we have Atomic from TRZ and Mamba completing the top 4 in this Miramar game.
Absolute perfect turn of events for both these teams, actually, because they both needed those points. They both needed to showcase their determinant towards this PMCC, and that is what they're doing perfectly in the semifinals. Again, we still have 1 more game remaining. When it comes to A1 Esports, they did have a decent start, but were not able to continue on with that effort. But move that conversation towards BIP, a team that certainly needed to have good game, and they did have a decent game with 5 kills, 15 points to them from this one.
Yep, and they really needed, as you said, and Blotter. But I got to give it to you, Blotter, for Team Z. You were anticipating this to happen from game number 1, and they really turned out here in this Miramar game and got those important 24 points. It's going to help their cause a lot, and they're going to end up in the top two charts, definitely in the overall ranking, and that is exactly what we were anticipating for Team Z as well.
Exactly, but on the other tangent is going to be teams like BFS Esports not having a decent outing. CRYPT not looking too phenomenal. Team Mercenaries still pretty much stuck to the same meta that they've been showcasing us. Even Esports and KSX. These two teams, we can certainly expect a lot better from.
Yep, definitely. But even esports, you always expect them to have a big Miramar game, right? Miramar King is a term that have been associated with them in the region for quite a long time. But once again, a disappointment coming inside Miramar for them. Just 2 points. I was really expecting a better performance from Avon Esports in Miramar after that opening chicken they got in Erangel. But never mind, they still have one more Erangel to go, and we'll find out pretty soon what is Avon Esports going to do over there in Erangel. And one more team that we really need to mention from the second page is BMG. They were doing good in the first two games, but after this performance, they are going to hurt their chances. But some redemption is definitely required in the last upcoming Erangel game. For now, we're going to watch the Oppo F19 Pro moments and have a look at onto some fights and how some of the teams did go down here.
Absolutely, and that is where everything started off with some amazing skills being showcased from these teams. Team Z right there, we saw BIP also in control of a lot of these interesting fights. Exentric took some interesting fights for themselves as well as they tried to get those points converted. Tricos right here was at the receiving end as well, but C-Wine was the man who came into his rescue and was able to take the reins for his teammates. Move that conversation towards the final few moments of the game is where we saw TRZ step into action. This is of course 24 minutes and 25 minutes in. This team was looking absolutely dominating. Right here we had Team Z with 12 kills. On the other side, of course, we did see TRZ walk away with 11 kills. So perfect turn of events for these teams. But now, how big a lead has KSX made? Not a lot. They were looking at 111 points from the previous game. Now they've only walked away with 2 more points, so they do need to do better. But talking about team that did outdo themselves, it is Team TRZ with 101 points.
And we have the third Centurion in the overall rankings here, 101 points for TRZ. Infernal Parasite's also not quite far behind, just 4 points behind them. So a lot of teams coming in on this day and making an impact here. Look at more teams that have slipped out of the top 4, out of the top 8. NRZ Team IR being one of them. Martyrs 1971 started the day inside top 8. They are now out of the chart here. Static Tribe did really good, get a decent game out here, but I really feel they could have done much better in this game. They were holding a pretty decent spot. They had the ridge cover, but TRZ made sure that they closed the distance on them and punished them under the ridge. So I think it was not a decent game for for Static Tribe, but they really need to come back in the last game. Moving down here, look at where Team Z is now.
Yep, we've got Team Z moving on to the 21st position, so that's going to be A-okay for the moment. But again, you talk about Team Mercenaries, you talk about Team BMG. Now, those teams have been consistent. Team Z, a bit of a roller coaster ride is what they're on at the moment, and that hopefully will change for the final game. I mean, Team Mercenaries, Team BMG, they are rolling on with a pretty decent momentum for themselves, and therefore, we're looking at them being so very close with the team that's going to be Team Z in terms of the points. But if Team Z continues on with this intention, then they can very well welcome themselves to the second page of the leaderboard, I think, by the end of fourth game.
Sure. One more game there. If they can get into the top 2 or get a chicken dinner, why not? They might just find themselves in the top 2 pages or maybe in the top 8 spot as well. We'll see if that happens or not, but something is definitely going wrong out there for players of BFS. They're turning 3-man squad back-to-back games. ImmensityX losing out on opportunities. That is really sad to see. SCL EnvyUs did not have a good start to this game. SLX DEADSHOT, they were sort of building up the pace in the first 2 games, but watching them here with just 33 points out of 7 matches, I really think it's a very uphill task for them in the remaining 5 matches now. We'll see what they can pull off. and really they have the potential over there. We have seen them win some beautiful fights today, but really they are not justifying their talent with the overall ranking and the place where they are right now.
Exactly, but move the conversation towards a team that has been doing so absolutely perfectly is going to be none other than TRZ, where we do have all four lads from White Cat to Atomic to Mamba to, of course, Reps, who are looking pretty comfortable. I mean, look at the amount of kills Atomic is sitting on with 17 kills in 7 games played. Phenomenal turnover wins, 11 kills for Mamba, White Cat sitting on 11 kills. Wow, this team is in control of these fights. No two ways about it.
Yep. And Mamba and Atomic both are pretty amazing talents, and they have like impressed us on multiple occasions here. We'll see how TRZ goes ahead.
Exactly. With that, we've got one more game remaining. So before we jump into that, we're going to go on a very, very short break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, if you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
PUBG Mobile, Godzilla vs. Kong. All new collaboration, live now. In the latest version of PUBG Mobile, players may encounter titans during a match, just like in the movies. Let's learn more about the all-new game modes, shall we? Titan Strikes. The Titan Strikes mode introduces 3 titans to Erangel, Sanhok, and Livid. Godzilla and Kong move along designated routes across the map. Players can chase after them in vehicles, but if you get too close, you'll be knocked down and take damage. When Titans get ready to unleash a heat ray, the system will prompt players to leave the red zone marked on the minimap. Players equipped with high-level armor receive reduced damage from the heat ray. Titans will absorb energy which emanates gradually from the earth. Once the energy reaches a certain threshold, Titans release it and create Titan crystals around them. Different types of Titan crystals provide different effects. Erangel's blue Titan crystals are special throwable items that players can equip. They knock back and burn enemies who are behind cover. Sanhok's gold Titan crystals enhance players' abilities, making you run faster and jump higher. Livik's red Titan crystals give players the ability to detect enemies nearby for a brief period of time. These enhancement items give players an edge in battle. Use them and bring the chicken dinner home. With the help of Titan crystals, players have even more unique tactics to achieve victory. Godzilla and Kong roam Erangel and Sanhok respectively, and players may bump into them on Spawn Island. Players can preview the Titan's route on the minimap, along with Apex Cybernetics, and low, mid, and high-level monster settlements. Apex Cybernetics are scattered along the Titan's route, which contains many valuable supplies. However, players can only enter the facility after a Titan has destroyed the base. Players that arrive early will not be able to get into the highly fortified Apex camp. At the same time, defeating different monster settlements rewards good supplies. Monster settlements are mainly occupied by lizards and crabs. Players can use a diversion to divide and conquer. The monsters are big, so using a shotgun at close range can deal huge damage. Players must also be wary of the Titan's attacks. Although they're not hostile towards players, they get irritated when there's too many players around. The Titan on Livik has unique electromagnetic abilities that affect the blue zone and cause it to shift every once in a while. Now, players must pay constant attention to the new play zones and transfer immediately when they begin to shrink, as to ensure they're not swallowed by the blue zone. Furthermore, Mechagodzilla periodically scans an area of the safe zone and marks the locations of everyone in the area on the minimap. This urges players to transfer or engage their enemies. Players must be extra careful. The Titan Strikes game mode is based on Battle Royale. Players must strive to be the last one standing amidst battling other players and Titans. With the addition of Titans, players are ready to witness their majesty and get their hands on the mysterious Titan crystals. Enjoy the all-new Titan Strikes and experience the earth-shattering might of the Titans.
Yeah, we got it. We did it. I know you'll be there for me.
I'll always be here.
Whoa! How you? Yes! Thank you, bro.
PUBG Mobile, Godzilla vs. Kong. All new collaboration, live now. In the latest version of PUBG Mobile, players may encounter titans during a match, just like in the movies. Let's learn more about the all-new game modes, shall we? Titan Strikes. The Titan Strikes mode introduces 3 titans to Erangel, Sanhok, and Livid. Godzilla and Kong move along designated routes across the map. Players can chase after them in vehicles, but if you get too close, you'll be knocked down and take damage. When Titans get ready to unleash a heat ray, the system will prompt players to leave the red zone marked on the minimap. Players equipped with high-level armor receive reduced damage from the heat ray. Titans will absorb energy which emanates gradually from the earth. Once the energy reaches a certain threshold, Titans release it and create Titan crystals around them. Different types of Titan crystals provide different effects. Erangel's blue Titan crystals are special throwable items that players can equip.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, if you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
Hello and welcome to PUBG Mobile Campus Championship Bangladesh region. We are set up in the semifinals. This is day number 4, final game, 4th game of the day, Trooper. Till now, we've seen some incredible plays in the final. The previous game itself, we had Team Z taking on the reins. But now, as we jump back into Erangel, what do you think? What team should we look out for?
Yep, the team to look out for would be PMCC Esports. Definitely, they got the chicken dinner when they went into Erangel the last time here. So the fans would be anticipating a chicken dinner here as well for them. But there are a lot of teams to watch out for. BMG is playing a pretty decent game. SLX DEADSHOT had a pretty decent for first 2 games. Then we saw a decent performance coming in from the players of Static Tribe as well. But you don't know. That is the beauty of the game. Which team is going to get on top here? The plane path is here in front of us, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the all-important game after which all teams would have played their 8 matches at the semi-final stage, and just 4 matches would remain for all the teams. So that is going to define how far these teams have stretched themselves after the finish of 8 games.
Absolutely. And in this final games conversation, we don't have BFS. They decided to not play the game entirely. Ouch.
Oh, that really hurt.
I'm sorry to BFS's players. Yes, have been on a roll that they are jumping into games with a 3-man squad. They should do much better and yada yada yada. But I genuinely never expected them to not play the game altogether itself. I'll take my words back, lads. Please jump back into the game because every single game counts. Every single game you do not play, you are given free points to your opponents to take a reign over you, and that is not good. But never mind that conversation. Moving on along with the circle itself, we do have bots in pajamas going on down towards the military base. And talking about the center, it is A1 Esports that is looking pretty comfortable in terms of their drop.
Oh, coming back to that BFS Esports, there are some sort of mistakes you are going to do when you're going to go to college. This is one of them, not turning out for a game which can like lead you and inside the overall rankings. Who knows that BFS might have just got a chicken dinner here. The zone might have favored them, and that
Exactly.
all could have happened, but that is not going to be the senior. They have missed out in a $30,000 tournament, and that is something that is not going to be the story of an example for any esports team. And I'm really disappointed how they have missed out on this situation here. But giving to them, they would also be really disappointed with their fourth lad not coming in. And that is exactly what we were speaking of earlier on the day one of the semi-final, that the fourth lad is creating an immense amount of pressure by not just turning up on the three teammates as well. And really sad for how BFS the semi-final has turned out for them.
Well, again, though, Trooper, as that is one sad state of affair, we move into the game where our moods are going to be uplifted. Where right off the bat, Hanzo once again sadly is on the receiving front, and it is BMG. And BMG start off early aggression within the first 3 minutes of this final game for the day. We have BMG taken the reign. On the other tangent is, of course, going to be Dark OP as well as Wilgax. But what can they do in this position? They are outnumbered, and now they're probably going to get outgunned as well. Well, let's find out, actually.
Yeah, we will. And Pochinki being contested once again. BMG, SLS, EnvyUs, the two teams that have decided to come to Pochinki. So it's a pretty decent start for this game. Early action upcoming here. I would really like BMG to get away out of Pochinki with 4 points. And that is the kind of rhythm that they have built for themselves with a good amount of kills in the first two games. We saw them getting almost 10 plus kills in the Sanhok game as well. So we'll see how BMG turns up here. And now they have gone up here on the terraces, on the housetops. Let's see what sort of impact this height advantage is going to give them.
Shingami overextended himself over there as he got himself on top of that, of course, roof-ish. But eventually, the information has been relayed down towards the players of NVS, and NVS are prepared. Wilgax is the one, I think, who was able to bring down the health of Shingami. But eventually, as this conversation moves on along, these teams are not going to be backing out. They are just going to be repositioning themselves to get that set up perfectly. And in doing so, it is Shingami who has been knocked. Sadly, I did not see anything actually in the kill feed, so it seems like he might have just knocked himself off of the roof, and thus the damage itself maybe resulted in him getting knocked, but not entirely sure about that. But this does result in EnvyUs having the perfect opportunity to get themselves either into a decent placement or get out of there.
That is a pretty interesting throw that you've given, because it is looking by the looks of it that they are sort of retreating towards the southeast end of Pochinki over here. That is a retreat strategy, as I can see over here from SCL EnvyUs, and I'm really not liking the way they are looking to move away from the situation, because you do not have much to lose, right? You are already not in the top 16, and that is what you are fighting for. So with opponents quite close to each other in the early half, you must be trying to get and grab those 4 kills if you can. But SCL EnvyUs, they are sort of missing the trick out here.
They most certainly are. I mean, I could not have said it better. Every single opportunity that is presented to you in the game is something that these lads need to utilize upon. And right here, EnvyUs are not doing so perfectly. They are certainly backing out of that fight. Maybe they are just trying to find themselves the perfect utilities before they step into the fight. Not entirely sure. Of course, we will get the answer to all of that, but eventually all the lads from EnvyUs slowly and steadily are jumping across from one window to the other and backing away from the entire Pochinki region altogether. And now, as they have made a decent distance away from the team of BMG, they will try and find themselves a vehicle to get out of Pochinki. But talking about BMG, a good start for them, a decent start for them. They've got a lot of utility working in their favor as well. All 4 members of the team are, of course, alive, and as they progress along, now they can call Pochinki their home.
Yeah, they certainly can. And speaking of BMG, this was a team that we were always eyeing from the early half of the tournament. From the round of 128, we were from the feedback of this team, it was always told that BMG Musketeer, he's a really experienced IGL and he leads his team beautifully. But it's a really, really nice way to see this team groom over the time from the round of 128 that we have seen them, and the way they are like playing inside the semi-final stage. It's really, really impressive. But on the other hand, as we speak, Exentric Infinity making an impact over Phantom Esports. Knight is going to go down there. He's going to get eliminated pretty quickly. Shubo, his teammate, might just try them to revive his teammate. No, that won't be allowed. The denied is the revive there by Exentric Infinity. They have grabbed their point and added it in their tally.
Exactly, C-Vine right here from Exentric, starting off his killing spree with 1 defeat to his name, looking pretty comfortable and confident as they will maybe try and push on towards that compound because they know they have the upper advantage in terms of the man alive, because Exentric have all 4 men alive as of now. And as they try and get more information, as they decide to push on along, it seems like the team has decided to rush away from that scenario. We see Iron Man in his vehicle as well. They are all going to be leaving the compound, and that is a perfect invite for Exentric right here to jump in, get that loot, perhaps spread out amongst themselves, as well as slowly tag on along towards the center of the zone, because they are outside the zone. They're very, very close to the zone itself. But talking about zone, another team that is going to be gatekeeping them maybe is going to be none other than KSX.
Yeah, and they're finding themselves in a pretty decent spot at this point, and they must have definitely heard the shots of Exentric Esports taking that kill over Phantom Esports as well. But for now, Phantom Esports has like moved away from the situation, and KSX is also looking to go inside the zone out there. So not a lot of action upcoming from this half of the map right now. But pretty soon, these teams are going to find themselves on the eastern edge of second or maybe the third circle. We'll find that out pretty soon. But it has been a pretty decent start for Exentric Infinity out here. 1 kill before the action really takes off is exactly what they wanted here. Maybe some more if they can pick off other players of Phantom Esports.
Exactly, for now it is all about the information, the early information that you wish to have, the better placement you can probably be in terms of the game, in terms of the zone, in terms of these rotations as well. But in that, as we talk about other teams, let's have a look at CRYPT. That is taken an entry into the zone from the hospital region as of now. They are bringing in a fanned out approach where Middle is all by himself, and on the other tangent, the other players are slowly now getting in their vehicles and following him along towards Gatka. But talking about the zone, talking about the rotation, talking about the circle itself, we go down towards A1 Esports being in the center, Team Z being in the center, and the bridge is where this might lead us down to.
Yeah, man. My question to you, Blora, where do you think is going to be the final circle, on the military island or the main? Because by the looks of it, this is going to get an interesting finish in this Erangel game.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, what I do want to say right here, Trooper, is give me the bridge circle. Give me the bridge circle. Because I mean, we've got BIP right there. We've got A1 Esports right there. We've got Team Z as well as those incredible lads of KSX and the parasites moving on along from the southern bridge as well. So just perfect turn of events and final game of the day. This is the kind of circle you want to be able to see, which throws a curveball to each and every team that's part of it.
And only 10 minutes into the game, already the IGLs are working, doing their match where the circle is going to be. The decision has come in from A1 Esports. They have moved towards the military circle, military island. But the interesting thing, still 15 teams in the lobby. And if the circle eventually goes towards the main island, a lot of teams are going to find themselves in a pretty tough spot. We'll see if that happens or not. Or eventually all the lads have to come down to the military island. That is also going to be something. But coming towards this part of the map, this bridge, the Novo bridge, which is being controlled by the players, by the lads of Infernal Parasites right now. Let's see, are they going to allow any movement or rotation from this bridge anytime soon?
Exactly. For now, they are looking pretty comfortable, pretty much in heaven right now, as this is looking absolutely in their control. The bridge is looking absolutely in their control. But along with that, when you talk about Haven himself, he is trying to get as much information as we can. And on the other tangent of this bridge is going to be none other than KSX as well, who've got their nets, fishing nets set up basically, and they're just waiting. They're waiting for their prey to walk into their crosshairs. If he is the only man who is on the bridge, apart from that, all the other lads from KSX are setting themselves up at the end of the bridge in towards those small little shacks. There we go. But they cannot leave that position too far out because behind them is Exentric. Interesting turn of events where now KSX is a team that we're looking at that might be in a bit of a tricky situation.
Yeah, but they are certainly going to be because and look at where Thunder is heading to. He's not heading towards the Nova Bridge, so that gives you a clear idea that these lads are opening up both the options for themselves. They might just go towards the main island if the circle shifts towards this side, or they might just keep the opportunity of going towards Nova Bridge, picking up a fight against KSX or other teams that they might find in the process. But it's a really nice decision making coming in from the lads of Exentric Infinity in this point, and I'm really impressed by the way they are expressing themselves over here. They are not allowing other lads to be in the vicinity, trying to force them and flush them out of this situation. They want as minimum traffic for them, but that is not going to be this case for here, as Maharaj makes sure that he gets knock over the players of Exentric Infinity. R3 Dul has been pulled down there out of that US, and that's a long range knock coming in from the petrol station.
Absolutely, and KSX Esports is the one that seems to be wanting to get this kill confirmed. On the other tangent, talk about Exentric, they are maybe working towards getting that water rotation because that's the only option that they've got as of now. But along with that, as C-Wine tries to get this revival done, another teammate has been locked, and that's going to be none other than Thunder, and he himself has now been knocked. Okay, Miraz from KSX is the one who's raining down Thunder in terms of lead that is being gushed down towards that entire compound, and dude does not want to walk away without getting that kid confirmed. Sadly, he was not able to do so, but also it is absolutely fair because he was able to dish out quite a lot of damage. Now they'll move on in towards the zone itself, in towards the circle itself, and this is where this team might be in the process of another.
And he's just become the party spoiler for the lads of Exentric Infinity. They were just trying to keep their options open, but Maharaj made sure that he outsmarted them, punished them for extending so far outside the circle. Their health was low, and he capitalized over the opportunity. And this is a perfect. Look at that knock coming in from Fact. What a knock against Phantom Esports, and he's been like snatched away from that buggy mid rotation, and that is an amazing work from the observers out there.
Absolutely, and Team Mercenaries player Fags right here is the one who is just in control of getting that player knocked as well as sent back into the lobby. So Python Esports now are going to be walking away from that situation, but Team Mercenaries are looking comfortable with that 1 point added on to their entire list of events. Now they are also going to have to move into the zone, and the zone is 1,500 meters away, pretty much. 15 minutes is what we are looking at, and this is quite an interesting turn of events for these teams. There are 15 teams still alive, and the zone has pushed so many of these teams out towards the open. Saga, that is not something that so many of these ideas wanted to be a part of, but moves our conversation towards the bridge camp spots. We have Team Z, and of course, this wonderful turn of events, which is now, well, sadly not turning in favor of Team Z.
Yup, Team Z under the radar right now. But look at that pressure coming in from ImmensityX. Just the architect, the last guy remaining. But 3 players from Team Z falling down on the bridge. This is not the perfect situation which Team Z anticipated for themselves. But now they got to retreat. Where is the 4th lad? That is my question. And they are getting shots. Oh, look at that. I asked TZ. He's the last player from TZ right now. He's on the other side. He's still holding on to that main island, and he really needs to regroup with his team because ImmensityX, they have got the time that they needed. They are going to revive their players and pose some serious threats on the bridge when Team Z decides to move ahead and cross the bridge.
Uh-oh, that's an ouch situation right there for Team Z. Not the kind of prediction that anyone would have expected, but that is what the case has resulted down towards. And Immensity are the ones who are looking in control of that entire saga. Move that conversation towards the final man surviving of Team Z right here. He is now just getting himself into his zone, maybe going to be trying to get a water rotation working for him, but also trying to keep in mind that that team on the bridge certainly is going to be waiting to gun him down, so he has to be really careful to not give away too much of information as he runs in the open. Till now, he was absolutely comfortable in doing so because of that ridge that was helping him. But as he enters the water, this is where things can get a little tricky for him. But well, that is the only thing that he's left to do. Actually, there's no other decision that is left.
Sure for him, but look at that in the kill feed. Play zone taking hold of players of Exentric, Team Mercenaries. BMG also had a player falling down to the play zone. So how the things have shaped, it's a really, really good decision making coming in from the players of Avon Esports. They were the first to cross the bridge when that third circle popped in, and really that decision did go in their favor. So we have got to give to Avon Esports. This is the perfect sort of situation for Avon Esports to prevail and maximize their points because they're holding the southern part of the military bridge right now. They're going to get some kills out of there. And as we speak, Team Mercenaries becomes the first team to get eliminated from this contest right now. We'll see how Avon Esports tries to maximize their position right now as Dante knocks down the players from ImmensityX. Chief goes out there. That is the situation developing over the area. And 6-9 gets the second knock over Rifford. So the perfect positioning from Avon Esports is resulting in 2 points at this point.
Absolutely, one after the other, after the other. The kill feed is certainly showing A1 Esports, the name that is coming up on top again and again. But on the other side of this circle, we do have TRZ trying to take on a fight against the Parasites, and it is not going to be an easy one because when you talk about Infernal Parasites, they are on top of the hill. They are in control and are looking pretty good. Now, talking about control, A1 Esports also has some really good control of where they've got themselves placed. They are not in the zone, but they are very close to the zone, and in doing so, they have actually got two teams. They've got two teams that they are trying to not allow to get into the zone.
Definitely, both SCL EnvyUs and ImmensityX are on the receiving end, but still two players from both these teams are still trying to survive. We'll see. Eventually, we'll see Phantom Esports also getting eliminated. So this is an amazing effort coming in from the lads of Avon Esports, and this is the smartness, right? Understanding the zone and understanding the terrain and how the situations are going to go ahead in the upcoming circles. That is what is giving them the profit at this point. But I don't see a lot of options remaining there for the lads of ImmensityX and SCL EnvyUs. They are going to go down eventually. And it's beautiful how Avon Esports have spread themselves over the southern part of this military bridge. And I'm really impressed the way they are playing this Erangel once again with the chicken in the first Erangel. And look at that, 6-9 getting hold of Maxton over there. One more kill in their game, overall 5. But Sinister goes down eventually. They also need to do some regrouping at this point. We'll see how they come up. But by the looks of it, they have a pretty decent opening and breathing space to regroup and capitalize over.
Absolutely, and right here there is no stopping the side of A1 Esports. All right. So well, now there seems to be a little bit of stopping coming in because two players of A1 Esports have been knocked. That's going to be in the name of 6-9 as well as Sinister, who are not looking good as they try to take them reins in their hands. With 5 defeats to this team is still in control of a lot of fights in this circle. As we bring it down to 10 teams remaining, SCL EnvyUs is the team that will be sent back into the lobby. But interestingly enough, I don't think the last player who was surviving gave away his point to A1 Esports. He did get knocked from the play zone itself.
Yep, there are 6 kills in the tally of Avon Esports. They would be really happy the way they have held the bridge over here and the terrain outside. But now the zone has shifted from where they are holding up, so they need to be quick to get a more centralized position inside these remaining 10 teams. Because up till now, whatever they have done has been fruitful to them. They have got 6 points out of that decision making that they did earlier. But now 3 guys still remaining from them. They really need to make that swift movement. Coming back to this fight between Infernal Parasites and TRZ, these have been 2 impressive teams right now going head against each other. We'll see which team comes out with the beneficial end out of this fight as well. But Rare has been a guy who has been there for his team till the last minute. And once again, with that flank position right now, he's thrown at the right space. Let's see if he can make some impact, or he's going to get caught out in the open. And he's going to get caught out, in fact, run down out in the open. And that is an amazing knock over Rare. But as we see, Mehfooz is also down here from Infernal Parasites. The lads from TRZ are sort of making that rotation, trying to get inside the zone and gatekeep other lads from entering. But Infernal Parasites has been on the receiving end, and Marshall, the only last player surviving from Infernal Parasites, trying to get away from the situation. So TRZ continuing what they have been doing so far inside this lobby. They are dominating it.
They most certainly are dominating it, and that too with perfect control, and they know exactly how they want to approach these situations. But now, as they try and get themselves into the zone with the smoke that they are utilizing, they will be given away information towards the side of KSX, and KSX will not give them those points that easily. Right here we do have Infernal Parasites being sent into the lobby on the 9th position, whereas on the other tangent, when you talk about TRZ's Rare FPS, he was the one who was able to knock down that final player of Infernal. But eventually, as this conversation has led down towards TRZ's angle, they have still been able to retain all 4 members alive as they get into this final zone. They still have the hill working in their favor, as do we have Crypto as well, a team I completely missed out. They are in here as well.
Yep, all the 4 lads from CRYPT CS6 have made it inside the zone over here. So we'll see what sort of impact can they make. Are they going to get some crucial points? But what am I watching here? The lad from Static NRZ, Stranger, he's out there in the open, but he's been spotted now by Atomic as well. And he's going to go down pretty sure with that DP. Let's see if that DP4X from Atomic is going to get that kill or not. No is the answer for now, but he is concentrating himself towards the western edge, where the lads of KSX are enjoying the favor of the zone. But look at that, what is happening out there. Bots in pajamas against the lads of SCL. They SLX DEADSHOT, and SLX DEADSHOT becomes the next team to get some damage out there. But as this was happening, the last player, Stranger, gets eliminated and being followed by Bots in pajamas as well.
Boy, oh boy, again, I mean, TRZ, the way they approached that hill was absolutely phenomenal. The way they entered the circle itself, or were trying to enter the circle itself, was looking really good. But somewhere along the line, the communication seems to be faltered down, because 2 of the players from TRZ have been knocked and sent back into the lobby thanks to KSX. As I was mentioning earlier, KSX could be the team that will maybe be troublesome for the position and the push coming in from the side of TRZ. But yet again, like I said, the communication is not being there. Now, finally, TRZ Mamba and Atomic know that there is a team that is going to be right in front of them, because still now they were busy taking on fights on the beach, on towards the other side of the circle, not knowing who is in their neighborhood.
And look at the circle, how it has favored the lads of KSX at this point. And they have not wasted much time. They were holding up the compound. They made sure that they came out pretty quick. They're holding the available covers out there. All the stones and the tree bunks that they can use are being used as a cover. It now just comes down to the lads of CRYPT CS6. Can they make an impact? Can they create a flank angle on the players of KSX and hurt them? Otherwise, KSX is going away and running away with the chicken dinner in this last game. But we'll find that out pretty soon. 5 teams, 14 players still fighting for the all-important 15 points, the chicken dinner, in this last and final important game, where after this game, all teams would have played 8 matches. 12 is the total number of matches the teams are going to play. 8th match for every single team. This is going to tell the story of overall standings pretty perfectly after this game.
Absolutely, and for that, it certainly is looking like KSX are going to be contesting their position quite comfortably. As of now, we do have TRZ's 2 players who are trying to take on this fight against the lad of KSX, but KSX have all 4 members alive. CRYPT is going to be down south to the southwest position of KSX for the moment, but eventually it is going to be one of those situations where don't know how much in control will CRYPT be, because CRYPT is busy taking on a fight with A1 Esports off of all the teams. CRYPT has spotted on A1 Esports' player, and one after the other through the smoke, CRYPT was able to knock them down. So that was absolutely phenomenal to be able to see. But in doing so, like I was just discussing, they did give away information towards the lads of KSX, and perfect turn of events, only 2 teams alive.
And look at that. I was expecting Crypt to hurt KSX, but the information was given away when they were hurting A1 Esports. And KSX made sure they capitalized. Now, once again, we have TRZ KSX fighting in the final circle. Look at the amount of smoke that is being deployed by the players of KSX. They are trying to hold the centralized position. They are trying to get the high ground. But that is exactly where Mamba is trying to hold up. Let's see. Popping some nades out in the open. The last guy standing, his teammate is knocked, but he cannot stop KSX into the stride, getting this chicken inside the last and final game, and more so increasing their lead in the overall standing. They were #1 position after the game number 6. That was a pretty amazing fiat to achieve. But after this chicken dinner in the 8th game, they are going to extend their lead a lot in the overall standings.
Most certainly, this team is just too much in control of this entire lobby. Looking really comfortable when it comes down to those aggressive stances that they do need to make to retain those compounds or their positioning in terms of the area of that circle, and that is what this team does absolutely perfect, with the communication being on point, the skill level of course being on point, and to be able to take those kills and take those points this easily. I mean, 9 kills is what they walk away with. Sanhok, they walked away with 12 kills. First game of Erangel, they came I think second or third. Wow.
Second.
Wow.
And yes, and the way they have played this game, KSX was almost like invisible till the last 6th circle, right? We did not spot them taking big fights before the 6th circle, and look at the way they have played in the final circle. Amazing way. And when they noticed Crypt eliminated in seconds, that was the story for Crypt CSX. Jax becoming the MVP for this game. He's got 6 kills against his name, 1 assist to add there with 549 damage. It is a brilliant display of the skills that this player possesses, and amazing game coming in from A1 Esports Jax out there.
Absolutely, A1 Esports stepping up. KSX, of course, sticking to their guns. But another team that I honestly did not notice till we moved in towards those final moments was none other than Crypt. Walking away with 6 kills, 10 placement points as they were third, 16 points to the team. Beautiful, absolutely immaculate performance.
Finally, we have been behind them for a lot of time, and they have answered in the last game. They are not going to remain in the 32nd spot, and hopefully they are going to jump towards the 3rd page with this performance. With 16 points in this game, we'll see what sort of jump they would be able to accomplish over here. But TRZ in the final circle, they were impeccable. KS Esports playing a decent game out there. So A1 Esports also there inside the top 4. So pretty decent game for all these 4 lads. And coming to this point, we had just 15 teams playing in this game. BFS did not even make it inside the last Erangel.
I was just about to point that out, Trooper. I mean, honestly, I was in fact going to call them out. BFS, you see, I mean, we had been talking about Crypt. The way they were playing was not on point and whatnots and everything. And you just need one game. You just need one of those games and you can walk away with so many points. But with that, let's move on to the Oppo F9 intro moments, where it was A1 Esports right here that we can see that did hold on to that perfect bridge camp position as they knocked down so many teams. Within a matter of, 3 to 5 minutes, they were looking at 6 kills. Absolutely ferocious turn of events. But move that conversation towards the final few moments, where of course KSX were the ones who came up on top. But TRZ Esports certainly did bring in a decent energy to the game.
Oh, well, look at the overall ranking. KSX, TRZ, Future Station, not to the 2nd, they go down to the 3rd point. And out of the top 4 teams, 3 are from this Group B and Group C. So this is an amazing turn of events, how when all the teams have completed 8 matches, KSX, TRZ, Future Station, Infernal Parasites, and ABC NBSQ survives in the top 5 there. Venom Legends going down to the 6. Bots in Pajamas with this last game, it was a decent performance, and they really got a decent performance in Miramar as well, coming to the top 7. But the big news out there, A1 Esports starting the day at the 24th spot, ending it inside the front page on the 8th position out here.
Boy, oh boy, wonderful turn of events indeed for so many of these teams. Talk about Team BMG. They've made it to the top 16, looking pretty comfortable right here. No question about it, because again, when you talk about the point difference between IPG Electrify as well as Team BMG, there's a 4-point difference. And talking about that 4-point difference, move on towards 17th position is now again looking at a 5-point difference. So beautiful. BMG just need to keep doing what they're doing in the next 2 days. and they should be in the top 16 absolutely comfortably. But if at all there are teams that could maybe throw them off their axes, it could be 1952. We've got Team Z right there in the name. We've got Team Mercenaries right there in the name as well. This is going to be really close in the next 2 days.
Yep, it is going to get really exciting in the last 2 days because there are a lot of good teams who are trying to make a comeback. Look at that jump from CRYPT CS6, and it is going to hurt BFS when they're going to look at it because they were behind them in the overall ranking, and now with this jump, they are finding themselves in the 26th spot. And mind you, A1 Esports started the day with 24th, and they are in the 8th spot, right? So anything is possible for CRYPT, and that is something they need to take away. 4 more matches, just 2 or 3 good performances might just is exactly what they require. But we have had a good look at the overall rankings over there, and we will now look at the cards for KSX. Look at that. Once again, 2.29. That is the kills per match for Sakil out there with 16 kills in the 7 matches that he has played. His teammates have also been amazing partners for him. Sanhok getting 12 kills, 14 kills for Mehraj as well, and FT getting 17 in just the 8 games.
I'm loving this fact right here, right, Trooper? Because again, when you talk about KSX's final player on this page, that's going to be Sakil. He has 7 games today. Thus implying the first game, he was the lad who was not there. But when you talk about his KPM, it was looking ferocious with 2.26 KPM. That means even though he was not in that one game, the next games that he did play, he was just so on point with his aggressive stance for his team. That just mind-blowing stats coming in from KSX. The entire lineup.
Yep, and Kapshi leading the kill leaders here with 24 kills. Mad Cat not far behind with 19s and being chased by the lads of TRZ. Atomic there with 17, Ifty with 17. At this point, he would really think that KSX and TRZ, they would be really happy with the performance in the overall ranking as far as the team is concerned, not as their individual performances. But they're really not very far behind. They can really make an impact and a comeback in the remaining 4 matches as well. And the overall standing, as we witnessed today, Blood is sitting perfectly for a lot of teams. As you mentioned, for Team Z, for BMG, from X Brothers Esports, for 1952, they are really going to fancy their chances coming into the last final 2 days of the semifinals over here.
Honestly, Trooper, it couldn't have gotten any better. Honestly, this is what you talk about when you step into final few days of the semi-final. That's 2 days of semi-final that remains, right? A total of 8 games. A total of 8 games is all these players and these teams have. And in that, teams are so close. 2 points away, 3 points away from being in the top 16 to not. And one game, we see teams that were not doing too good throughout the day. Just one game, they make a massive chunk of lead in terms of the points by 16 points. And that's CRYPT that I'm talking about. So nobody can predict what the final 16 teams that move into the final will look like. But for now, that does bring us to an end for our day number 4. Everybody sitting back at home, certainly hope you guys enjoyed. Do not forget to showcase your love to all these teams. The continued action will move on towards tomorrow. There, once again, we'll jump into the arena to find out which team is going to be the champion of the battleground. With that, thank you so very much for tuning in. Till tomorrow, take care. Bye-bye.
Good thing going